What's going on? 10 o'clock. It's Friday. Good morning. From the Circus Sports Studios, I am Robert Walsh. Thursday Night Football was definitely one of the games played this season. Broncos win it 10-7. Geno Smith fought through a quad injury to attempt the Raiders to put them in a position to win the game, but an interception, a blocked punt, and a touchdown wiped out due to penalty. The Raiders were unable to capitalize. The Broncos ended the game with 6 sacks, 46 sacks on the year. That is the most through 10 games since 1990. An injury update in Washington as Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels' MRI and medical opinions revealed positive news as his dislocated left elbow is not as serious as originally anticipated. There was no ligament damage, and he won't need surgery. Daniels will not be immediately placed on injured reserve. No Titans football, but you can listen to NSC take on Inter Miami for Game 3. Winner takes all. Loser goes home sad as hell. We have the call here with Will Bowling, Eddie Carvacho. Pregame at 6:30. Game at 7 on Saturday. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. Welcome in. Happy Friday. Titans are off. Vols are off, but no matter. There is much to discuss. Huge game happening on West End this weekend. I am fascinated to see what Auburn looks like with Hugh Freeze out the door. Do they get that interim coach bump as Vandy continues to fight for its playoff lives? We had a dud of a Thursday night football game last night with a contending team winning with the hottest team in the National Football League. The Denver Broncos?
Is it the Denver Broncos?
Are they the hottest team? And they technically are. We're 104.5 The Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Lucas Panzica and Robert Walsh with you. Buck will make his way back, I suppose, by Monday. Life with the Joneses on the F&M Bank chat says it's cloudy today, which means Buck must be on his way back home. No coincidence. 615-737-1045. Nashville SC, do or die moment at Inter Miami tomorrow night. So much to discuss for the next 3 hours. We're fueled, of course, by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best in the world. You're kicking back. You're watching all the college football playoff implications on Saturday. Let Hattie B's fuel your watch party. Go to HattieB.com. Get yourself a big bucket of chicken. That sounds really good on this Friday. You could not have characterized Thursday Night Football better yesterday. On the way out, when you said, listen, this is that game that when you're sitting around in June wishing, pining for football to be back, this is the kind of game that you get. So don't complain when Broncos Raiders is your Thursday Night Football offering. And it was exactly that kind of game. It's the kind of game that when we sit here in November and watch, we're disgusted by it, but we crave it in the middle of July. Oh, my goodness, Robert.
You'd run over your neighbor's pet to get this game in the summer. But last night, it was hard for me not to just go, do I want to go play Arc Raiders? Do I just not want to watch this game? No, damn it. You need to watch this game. You need to appreciate it because you can't put these things in a time capsule and be like, I'll just watch this later. Nope, it's better than no football at all, even if we get to lament about how bad that game was.
10-7, the Denver Broncos are 8-2, and once again, I say, with the question mark at the end, the hottest team in the NFL? By definition?
Yeah, I mean,
based on a 7-game win streak? I don't know. They're the first team in the league to get to 8 wins on the season, and they're doing it in the strangest of ways. A tale of two sides of the ball with that 3-point victory where the Broncos just can't get out of their own way on offense. The defense is dominant as it has been all year. By the way, great to see Tyler Lockett out there, I guess. 6 catches for 44 yards, already surpassing anything he did with the Titans this season in 2 games with the Raiders.
Out-snapping their second-round rookie and Jack Besh, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Yes, let's go sign this aging veteran and not put – I don't know what he did or did not do to get playing time, but apparently he deserves it.
I mean, come on, man. 5 catches on 6 targets, but still a season high in catches, a season high in targets, a season high in yards, a completion of 19 yards, a season high for Lockett there. I mean, he's back with the fellas. He's back with Pete Carroll and with Geno Smith, and there you go. They're throwing him the football. I don't know how I feel about that as a Raider fan if, to your point, Jack Besh is the one being sidelined because of it. But, my goodness, this was some ugly football. Boos for the Broncos offense at Mile High Stadium. Vance Joseph, still very good at what he does. And this Broncos defense is elite. How are Bronco fans feeling right now?
It would probably be a tale of two cities, right? Because if you are a big defensive guy, you're like, holy crap, we're going to repeat as the best defensive team in the league. I told you about in the update that you actually told me about this morning. Their sacks through 10 games is the most since 1990.
46.
The record is held by the Chicago Bears, I believe, with 72 sacks in a season.
85?
I'm not good with is it 85?
I'm asking, is it the 85 Bears?
85. I was like, dang, I was off by a lot, man. But you have to like look at it as a, yeah, we feel good, but why is Bo Nix good? Sometimes he's good, I guess. Every once in a while, they have a fun little backfield with R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, who, as a fantasy aficionado, I hate that I box score watch sometimes for stats. But looking at it last night, there was one drive, and I get so sucked into little things like this. J.K. Dobbins could only rush for either 2 yards or 7 yards. It was a drive in the third quarter. Go look it up. But it was like 6 different rushes. 3 times he rushed for 7 yards. 3 times he rushed for 2 yards. It was just that kind of game. It was just that kind of game. So many 3-and-outs from Bo Nix. Is he good? Yeah, I guess. You're throwing picks to Caillou Blue Kelly, who's been on everybody's practice squad in the entire league?
I have to say, I've never heard that name. And when you said that name today, I said, that is the most Nickelodeon, Disney-sounding cartoon name I've ever heard in my life. Who is Caillou Blue?
Played at Stanford.
Caillou Blue Kelly.
He just floated around. I'll tell you a fun, interesting fact about him. He developed a video game while playing at Stanford, and most of the teams that were talking to him, all these reports coming out of the draft about like different players. Well, this guy does this guy does this. Everyone was talking about this video game he produced. So instantly I thought, yeah, this guy's going to suck. Yeah, this guy's going to be terrible. And he was for a little bit, but if you have 2 interceptions on a Thursday night game, you're getting better than I thought you were.
Stoney Keeley is in the F&M Bank chat. Great to see him. Follow Stoney on Twitter, by the way, just for the candle reviews.
Incredible follow.
We got to get that segment running on this show.
It doesn't matter what he's talking about. I would have him review garbage can cleaners. Yes. Smells like cat litter and expired chicken. The easy way to clean that is white vinegar. I would listen to Stoney talk about anything. So if you're bored, need something to listen to outside the hours of 6 to 6, and we're not broadcasting a game on 104.5 The Zone, go look at Stoney's Twitter. You will be enamored by the things that this man can review.
In the F&M Bank chat, he says, that game was only a dud if you didn't appreciate Mike McGlinchey's performance against Max Crosby, which is why you love Stoney.
Might be the 6th best thing he does, and he's very good at it.
Get into the nitty-gritty. Stoney Keeley, you can hear him on Titans Talk Back each and every Titans game day after the game with Kevin Dyson and Zach Lyons, but not this weekend because the Titans are off on the bye week. Brett Kern will be in studio in the noon hour to talk about that. No Coach Dave McGinnis today. A very well-deserved couple of days off here for Coach Mack, so we will catch up with him next Friday back to our regularly scheduled 11:20 Friday segment with Coach, presented by Two Rivers Ford. We'll dive a little deeper on the Bo Nix conundrum of 2025. But is there a more perplexing team to figure out than the Denver Broncos when you're talking about the contenders? Because they are a contender, right? They have 8 wins. That's the highest mark in the NFL. Understand a lot of games have to happen on Sunday. But they're on this win streak. Their defense is dominant. It's going to keep them in every game they play. And it's so boom or bust right now with Bo Nix. But they are unquestionably a contender. Which contending AFC team is on more interesting, or I don't know if unstable is the word, footing, Robert? Is it Broncos fans that are like scratching their heads, loving the 8-2 record, but wondering if Bo Nix will be good enough to get them to the mountaintop? Or is it Colts fans that are asking that same question about Daniel Jones as he kind of came back down to earth with 3 picks last week and a loss to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, it's tough because that was the Daniel Jones we hadn't seen all year, right? The Pittsburgh's defense, which was very uncharacteristic for them this year, had a really good game against him. So I think you would have to, if I'm a Colts fan, I'm just blinking, hoping that next week you roll over and Daniel Jones goes back to the Vanilla Vic. I guess we can't call him that anymore. It's Indiana Jones.
He's Indiana Jones.
The Indiana Jones that you saw at the beginning of the season, you have to hope that this was just a blip on the radar and that he returns to form. And you just added one of the more talented pieces in a secondary that you could add in Sauce Gardner. So if I'm a Colts fan, I'm probably pretty tickled.
Yeah, Patriots fans are probably still looking around in amazement at this start to the season. Big game for them on Sunday at the Buccaneers. Might be the biggest challenge Drake May has seen on the road against that defense with Todd Bowles at the head of it. Colts are at home. They're at Lucas Oil Stadium hosting the 3-5 Falcons. And that is, they are not at home. They're across the pond. They're in Germany.
Oh.
That's the Germany game, Sunday morning, 8:30 Central.
Donka. Is that a German word?
Yeah.
Is that what Donka means?
Donka means thank you.
Oh, Donka.
What are you trying to say?
That. I don't know. I was hoping it wasn't a bad word. Wiener Schnitzel. I know how to say that.
I don't know any bad German words.
Yeah, me neither. If I was going to throw a perplexing team out, or at least a team whose fan base is a little perplexed right now, how would you feel about the 6-3 Chargers? Because despite your record, despite being second place in the AFC West, despite having a franchise quarterback, your team is crumbling around him.
Yeah.
2 tackles on injured reserve now, both of them out for the season, and you have a high-powered offense. Greg Roman, who coming in, the whole note was, he's going to have a dominant running game for you guys. You're going to work through it. And despite that, Justin Herbert is throwing all over the field, and it still doesn't mean as much as it should. So I think Chargers fans are a little like, what has to break our way for us to be the team in this division, especially looking at the Broncos, scored 10 points on Thursday Night Football, and they're in your division lead. So it's like, we got the offense. Why can't we do that?
Najee Harris out for the season. Omarion Hampton, the rookie out of North Carolina, on IR, but set to come back in the near future, I think. Defensively, you've gotten a nice season out of Tui Pelotu, the freshman. The rookie,
I do it too. I
rookie
do that
out of
too.
Ohio State. Yeah.
In his sophomore year in the NFL, I do that too all the time.
I was bought in on the Chargers at the start of the season. It's really hard to survive what they've had thrown at them. And it's not just at the tackles, right? I mean, it is. It's Rashawn Slater going down to the preseason. It's Joe Alt missing a few games, coming back, and then gets carted off at Nissan Stadium Sunday. He's done for the year. It's Mekhi Becton down. It's tackle depth down. Austin Deculus was out. A very popular name on this show now was not available for them on Sunday. So it's hard for me to sit there and put the Chargers fourth as a legitimate contender in the AFC with everything that they're having to hurdle here in this stretch. But Bronco fans just have to be scratching their head because defensively, hard to make any argument against the Broncos being the best defense in the NFL. Offensively, Jekyll and Hyde is an understatement, and we'll dive deeper into some of those numbers with Bo Nix and go across some more NFL headlines. QB injuries, a big theme this week. That's next on 104.5 The Zone.
Nothing worse than an HVAC, plumbing, or electrical emergency. That's why you make sure that you have the Happy Hiller folks on speed dial, because no one wants to deal with that. And most of the time, you don't know what it will cost or if it'll get fixed correctly or if someone is just trying to sell you something. That's when you call Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, because their experts are going to solve your problems quickly. And the price that you're told is the price that you'll actually pay. No hidden fees or surprises when you get your bill. Hiller has been in business for over 35 years and is family owned and operated. Their techs are professional, experienced, and trustworthy. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time. No more wasting time waiting around. 100% satisfaction guarantee of happy you'll be, or the service is free. That's the Happy Hiller promise. So book online today at happyhiller.com.
It's time for NFL headlines with Lucas Panzica. And Lucas, before we get into the NFL headlines, we got a comment from someone in the F&M Bank chat. Vandy Man wanted to know, Lucas, how do you feel about NSC's chances to advance tomorrow night? Big game, Game 3 against Inter Miami. Winner goes home with a trophy, and the loser goes home sad as hell. So how do you feel about it?
From football to football, just like that. I feel like they've got a shot. I really do. I feel like the confidence they got from that win on Saturday, that they have an ability to just make Miami uncomfortable, to get under their skin, to take advantage of the chances that are presented to them, something they do need to do, something that will happen. That's one thing that Miami does, is they give up those opportunities. But I think it's going to be a very high level of intensity at Chase Stadium on Saturday night. 7 p.m. is the kickoff. You can hear the game right here on The Zone. Will on the call for this one with Eddie Carvacho. 6:30 is the start of pregame. And you can watch, of course, on Apple TV. But I feel good. It's a daunting task, obviously. It's a Miami team that can just blow a game open at any point, and Lionel Messi and what he does and what he's surrounded by. But Nashville has stars, too. And Nashville has this sort of tough-nosed mentality that kind of helped them out on Saturday night. Backed by a home crowd, and now you got to go do it on the road. But I would love for the dream to kind of continue for Nashville SC in what's already been a great year.
The dream may not continue for Commanders fans this year after having an impressive rookie year, taking the Commanders to the NFC Championship game. It was reported just about an hour ago, Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels is to go an MRI, and medical opinions revealed positive news that his dislocated left elbow is not as serious as originally anticipated. There was no ligament damage, and he won't need surgery. That's the good news. The bad news, he is out indefinitely as the Commanders try to fight their way out of a hole to make it to the NFC Championship again. That is also a daunting task.
Yeah, so out indefinitely, but not on injured reserve, I guess indicates the Commanders have some level of hope that Daniels could make it back.
Or a prayer.
That he could make it back within the next 3 to 4 weeks, I suppose. If you put him on IR, obviously he has to sit a minimum of 4 games, not 4 weeks, but 4 games. The Commanders this weekend host the Detroit Lions.
Oof.
In a rematch of that divisional round game where Washington knocked out Detroit at Ford Field. This one is at Northwest Stadium. At home for Washington. So tall task for Marcus Mariota as he steps in as the starter. Then they go to Miami. Then they have a week off and host the Broncos in the last game of November before going to Minnesota. That is not an easy stretch. Going to Miami is kind of the catch your breath moment there, followed by a bye week. But sandwiching Miami in the bye week, a home game against Detroit, a home game against Denver, and a road game against Minnesota. They're in some dangerous territory here, right? At 3-6 to, if they slide over this stretch, if they can only get one win in that stretch, kind of being out of the discussion, Robert. I mean, there's a very real opportunity here. Opportunity isn't the right word, but a very real threat for Washington to, I don't know, be 4-9 if Jaden Daniels is able to come back by the start of December.
And it's going to be tough to get in the NFC, where the NFC West has kind of log-jammed the wild card situation, where 3 out of the 4 teams in that division are sitting at 6 wins. So the Washington Commanders' mission to go forward would be to win the division. That's a guaranteed spot in the playoffs. So unseating the Eagles would be the key. Yeah. But who do they play the final week of their season? The Eagles.
On the road.
So if by some miraculous fashion they are able to win their next 7 games and go into Philadelphia at 10-6, you would be fighting the Eagles for that spot.
Well, and they host the Eagles 2 weeks before that.
So
2 of their last 3 games are against Philadelphia.
The Commanders are in a perilous spot. You didn't see them make any moves at the trade deadline, something that if I told you in the offseason, you'd be like, oh, so they're well within contention. They don't need to make any moves. A team like this that is scratching and clawing on a rookie deal, you would think that they would make some moves. I think that tells you everything you need to know about the Commanders and where they're positioned, at least for this season.
Yeah, it's not a favorable schedule down the stretch. I mean, the Eagles, 2 out of the last 3 aside, your last 4 games are against divisional opponents, 2 of them on the road. Obviously, the Eagles twice, the Giants on the road, and then hosting the Cowboys on Christmas Day. So the Commanders, who are a popular pick for that year 2 leap with Jaden Daniels at quarterback to make another run at an NFC championship, push for a Super Bowl, seem pretty far away from that. And it's been an interesting year of those unexpected contenders emerging, like the Colts. I wouldn't necessarily call the Broncos that, although we were having that discussion in the last segment. How much of a contender do you consider the Broncos to be? They are a contender. They're sitting there with 8 wins on the season as we officially cross into the second half of the regular season. But the up and down with Bo Nix, Robert, it just, they have to find a way to level that off. Last night alone, that Broncos offense punted 7 times, 10 first downs, even on first downs, with the Raiders offense that has been dreadful, especially up front. And speaking of that, the Broncos sacking Geno Smith 6 times. You mentioned 46 sacks already on the year, 10 games in, best mark through 10 games since 1990. 7-game win streak, first time they've done that in a decade. Last time they did was the 7-0 start to the season in 2015 with Peyton Manning, obviously the Super Bowl winning season for the Denver Broncos. 4 possessions that went for negative yardage last night.
The only stat you need to know is there were more penalties on one side of the field than both teams' third down conversions combined.
Oof.
There were a total of 9 third down conversions in this game out of 30, and there were 11 penalties on both teams.
And then last one I'll throw out there, Broncos held scoreless in the first quarter for the fourth time this year. So I don't know how to judge that. If you're looking at Bo Nix, who a couple of weeks ago went into Dallas and just lit up the scoreboard, was fantastic in that game. One of 2 times this year where he's had a QB rating of over 100. That game, 19 of 29, 247, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 44-24 win against Dallas. He had that performance against Indy on the road where he kind of went blow for blow with Daniel Jones, and they really should have won that game. They lose 29-28 week 2. That was the penalty where Indy misses the game-winning field goal as time expires, but I can't remember the Broncos defensive lineman that tries to leap over the snapper, and it's a penalty. Indy gets another crack at it, new lease on life, and they boot it through, and Denver drops that game in week 2. Started the season 1-2, and now here they are at 8-2. They're one of the harder teams to figure out, I think, this season in the NFL. Bo Nix, though, knocking on wood, has stayed healthy this year, which cannot be said for the likes of Jaden Daniels and C.J. Stroud, who's out this weekend. Concussion. We talked about it yesterday. Davis Mills, the neck man up, as Robert put it. AFC South game, Jags and Texans. I don't know if you see the spread. Who do you think is favored and by how much in this game that is being played in Houston?
I'll say the Jags by 3.5.
1.5.
Wow.
Jags by 1.5. Jacksonville 5-3. Houston 3-5.
That's honestly really surprising to me, especially considering the fact that Texans haven't really had a dominant run or even an average running game this year, which we'd like to prop up your backup quarterback. And Jacksonville's defense, at least at the beginning of the season, was creating turnovers left and right. So I really like that number. If you're a betting man, I would 100% take the Jags on the road. You love a home dog, though.
No Travis Hunter. He's on injured reserve. And I feel like people are kind of waiting around for the Texans to be anything close to, I don't know. What were preseason expectations for Houston this year?
They would comfortably win the division. I think that they were thought of as the runaway best team in this division. Everyone was mocking Daniel Jones. We were all kind of I picked the Jaguars to win the division, but I think there were more people than not that thought, oh, it's a first-year head coach.
Trevor Lawrence, believe it when I see it.
Yeah, who cares how much of an offensive guru this guy is? Show me that you're an offensive guru. And I feel like he's done some of that, despite fans clamoring for more Brian Thomas Jr. action. But, I think coming into this season, people expected the Texans to handedly win the South.
615-737-1045 is how you jump in. We're also on 104.5 The Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. And then Kyler Murray. We didn't talk about this. We talked about the weirdness of Jonathan Gannon saying, no, Kyler's our quarterback when he's healthy, and Kyler looked like he was getting close to returning, and then Gannon turns around and says, well, Jacoby Brissett is going to be our guy. Kyler's not quite ready yet. Then they go ahead and place him on IR. And Kyler Murray is sidelined for a minimum of 4 games. Jacoby Brissett will continue to lead the Arizona Cardinals forward here. Does this feel like the beginning of the end for Kyler in Arizona?
It feels like he will be the Jets quarterback who will start the first 4 weeks of the season until Fernando Mendoza is thrust into his starting opportunity. Doesn't it seem like he's just going to get shipped off like somewhere else, like the Cardinals ready to roll over? But it's a tough spot because I also think that they could be done with the Jonathan Gannon experiment. Every year we're like, hey, the Cardinals are feisty. Hey, the Cardinals may be good. And then they fall flat on their face. So I don't know and that was one of the big selling points for Jonathan Gannon going to the Cardinals, remember? He said he had other options, but he chose there because none of the other options had a franchise quarterback. So I wonder if he's the one going back on it, if Steve Keim is going back on it, what the deal is over there. But to me, if it stinks, there's something dead. You know what I mean? If there's smoke, there's fire. So something is going on. We don't know what it is. I would be interested to go back and see Jim Harbaugh's comments when Colin Kaepernick was playing much better than Alex Smith was on the way in. Alex will be our quarterback when he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Alex.
They say you can't lose your job to injury, but I don't know why that's a thing. Like, that's something that people say, I feel like, and it's just proven wrong year over year over year, isn't it? At the college level, it's happened this year when Austin Simmons went down for Ole Miss, and then here's Trinidad Chambliss, this transfer from Ferris State that wasn't even playing in the FBS a year ago, and he just takes the Ole Miss offense and runs with it, and you just look at it and say, no, it would be malpractice to bench this guy. That might be one of the most inaccurate cliche sayings in all of sports, especially in football. You can't lose your job due to injury. Of course you can. Of course you can.
See, and I think I've talked to Ramon about this before, and I don't want to mischaracterize his words. So, Ramon, please call in or text me if I'm incorrect on this. But I think that's a culture move. I think you don't want to have guys usurped because they're injured because of the message it sends. Like, hey, if you get hurt, this team's not going to have your back. They're going to go to the next guy.
Yeah.
So, like, I understand that sentiment of why some people wouldn't do it, and in some positions why you wouldn't lose your job.
For sure.
But in other positions, like the most important position on the field, quarterback, you have to go who's going to give you the best opportunity to win.
Arizona goes to Seattle this weekend. Last time they met, that was a crazy game. Insane game where Marvin Harrison Jr. was having all those drops. It was a Thursday night football game in Arizona, and then the Seahawks had a big lead. The Cardinals charged back, and Seattle still, with Sam Darnold, found a way to drive down the field and kick a game-winning field goal, one of multiple walk-off losses for the Cardinals this season, who are 3-5, but probably feel like they should be at least 2 games better than that record, despite Kyler Murray missing as much time as he has. But he's sidelined for a while, and the NFC West continues to be one of, if not the most interesting division in football, as the Rams at 6-2 go to San Francisco 6-3. Speaking of losing or not losing your job due to injury, Kyle Shanahan says he expects Brock Purdy back. But does there need to be a discussion in San Francisco if Mac Jones plays anywhere close to how he played last week and leads the Niners to a home win over the Rams? And that will have meant Mac Jones has beaten the Rams twice this season if he does that, after beating them at SoFi Stadium a few weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. Do you see, it's hard to see that in San Francisco, but would that conversation have any merit if Mac Jones continues to play the way he's been playing and just how impressive he was last week in that win over the Giants?
I think you just got to shake Mac Jones' hand and say, thank you for your service, but we just paid this guy a boatload of money. We paid him so much money. It would make no sense to me and would also put you in a terrible position if you stick with Mac Jones, who is a free agent after this year, only signing a 1-year deal with the 49ers. So to go and say, hey, Purdy, appreciate you fighting back from injury, but Mac's playing really well, so just take another week. That wouldn't be the way they said it to us. They would say, oh, Brock Purdy had a setback. So if you hear that, oh, Brock Purdy had a setback, it's going to be another week, they want Mac to keep playing. I don't foresee that being the thing, but I think it's just tough when you pay somebody that much money to not put him on the field. He's supposed to be your leader. And to go with the guy who just got here, I think that sends a terrible message. Kyle Shanahan's a better coach than that. If he can get that good play out of Mac Jones, he can get the same level of play out of Brock Purdy.
Lewis on the F&M Bank chat says Rico Dowdle took Hubbard's job in the Carolina backfield because of injury.
But that's also performance, because when Hubbard came back, they had a split backfield, and Rico still dominated yards with similar carries. So last week you saw them do the full flip, where Hubbard was the secondary back and Rico Dowdle was the one who got the majority of the carries. So I don't think Hubbard lost his job because he was hurt. He lost his job because the other guy got hotter than he did, especially at a position where the turnover rate is large. You kind of have to have 1 to 2 guys to back up your bell cow. So Hubbard didn't lose his job for that. Hubbard lost his job because he wasn't as efficient as Rico Dowdle was. That's also a position where you can play 2 guys. You can't have a 2-quarterback system. I think it's totally different rules for the guy that's touching the center's backside every single play.
That's another trend to watch this weekend in the NFL with the Titans off, other teams on a bye, by the way, the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Cowboys off this weekend. Panthers have a chance to keep this trend rolling. They host the Saints this weekend, NFC South matchup, noon kickoff Sunday. Carolina, sneakily, with the win, can get to 6-4. And Carolina has won 4 of its last 5. That one loss to the Bills came with Bryce Young sidelined and Andy Dalton playing quarterback. In fact, Bryce Young is one of 3 quarterbacks as we sit here at the end of the first week of November. Young is one of 3 quarterbacks who is undefeated since the start of October. Can you name the other 2?
Ooh, Bo Nix?
Yep.
Matthew Stafford? I don't know. Who's the other one?
Drake May.
Drake May!
5-0 since the start of October.
I'm getting tired of him. Getting tired of all these pretty boys. Is he going to be the next Justin Herbert? Oh, he's young. He's got acne. Look at his face. He looks like he should be in gym. I'm over it. Look how handsome he is. Look how handsome that ball he throws is. I'm over it. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Oh, Drake May has his biggest test of his second year this weekend at Tampa Bay.
I would agree with that. Even with, and I haven't paid super close attention to the Bucs injury reports to know who they're getting back or at what positions they're getting healthy, but the Bucs are on a nice little run right now. It makes a lot of sense when you've got a veteran leader like Baker Mayfield and a ton of veteran players on both sides of the ball. So, I mean, it makes sense that they would be a consistent team. Is this game, you probably already said this and I wasn't listening, is the game in Charlotte or Tampa?
In Tampa.
In Tampa. So that's tough. That big-ass pirate ship back there just staring at you. The cannons ready to go off at any time. That's a tough place to play. This weekend is your father's birthday, Lorenzo.
That's right. It was yesterday.
Yesterday. So you're going up there, down there, whichever direction away you'd like to claim. Did your dad ever do any tweets? Maybe say something to a coach when you were playing soccer? Like, you should play my son more. You should trade my son to a team that actually throws him the ball.
I'd love for my dad to try to figure out Twitter. I would love to watch it. So no tweets.
Am I doing this right? Well, you do not have the luxury that Roma Dunze has because his father is over it. He thinks his son, which I can't blame any father for thinking their son is the best thing since sliced bread. He thinks that his son should be getting much more attention from Ben Johnson and the Bears offense, tweeting things like, he quote tweeted this, Rick Marty tweeted, "Can the Bears trade Roma Dunze to a team that actually throws the ball to him?" His father quote tweeted it with a pen. Like, hey, look at this. I agree. He has made so many comments that Rome has had to come out and say, my father does not speak for me.
Oh, no.
Like some people, we talked about best fake songs at the beginning of the week. Daddy wasn't there. His daddy is there, and his daddy is overstaying his welcome. I don't know how I feel like this because I would probably also be the dad that's like, hey, throw my son the ball. It's like, your son's fat and has short arms. He doesn't even play on offense. He's on the JV team. Why are you talking to me? But I think this is uncharacteristic about the way that he is being used in the Bears offense.
Sorry, when was the last time one of these exchanges or tweets happened?
This one was from 4 days ago.
4 days ago.
Yeah.
So after the Bears scored 47 points in a football game?
I think he was upset. Yes. That was after that game.
Roma Dunze targeted 3 times, no catches. But the Bears scored 47 points in the football game.
It's a team game, Daddy. You got to get with it, man. I wouldn't put him on the Mount Rushmore of worst sports fathers or best sports fathers, but like sports fathers that have been terrible. Laramie Tunsil's dad for leaking that gas mask video.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Manziel's father for not spanking him. Who are the other bad sports dads? I wouldn't say LeVar Ball.
Yeah,
I feel like LeVar Ball put the people on a map.
Agreed. Most people would say LeVar Ball, but you wouldn't know about Lonzo and the rest of the Ball boys if it wasn't for LeVar.
Speaking of another game that happened last night, USF and UTSA.
Sorry, Nico's dad.
Nico's dad. Yeah. Nico's dad definitely goes on worst sports dads. Josh McCown's son playing as a quarterback for UTSA. And we needed them to beat USF for the opportunity for ECU to go to the American Championship. First play of the game, USF pick 6. Cut the game off. Can't even watch it. Can't even get excited anymore.
Man, if USF didn't blow that lead against Memphis a couple weeks ago, they'd be in the driver's seat to get that G5 spot. The driver's seat that Memphis currently occupies. Big game, by the way, in the American tonight in that regard for that G5 team jockeying to get to the college football playoff. And one more headline here, because this came out this morning. Antonio Brown was arrested on an attempted murder charge stemming from a maze shooting after a celebrity boxing event in Miami. Some of you may remember, we talked about this on the show. Aiden Ross, whoever that is, an influencer, I guess, held this boxing event, a celebrity boxing event. There was a big scuffle. A shot rang out. Nobody was hurt. But Antonio Brown has been arrested on an attempted murder charge in Dubai, taken into custody by U.S. Marshals in Dubai, and he was flown to New Jersey, where he is currently being held pending extradition to Miami.
Is it, man, I just feel bad for this guy. Like, obviously something's wrong with his noggin. like, something happened where it shifted his mindset. it's sad that things like this have to happen for someone to get help or protect from themselves. But he really needs to be protected from himself for doing stupid things like this. Like when Chandler Jones was doing all of the tweets and the videos. Like, I always feel bad for those guys because you've been the man for pretty much your whole life. The best player at your high school, the best player at your college, one of the best players on your team. Who is going to be able to tell you anything? Who is going to be able to reach you and say, hey, man, you really need to button this up? Or, hey, man, and then you even have the wherewithal because of all of the head injuries you've had to say, you know what, I really do need to dial this back. It sucks because I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him in this situation where a lot of people could say, yeah, he put himself in this, though. Yeah, but he's not himself. It's not him. I would assume people that knew him when he first got in the league, he was nothing like this. So I'm glad he got arrested, if only to protect himself from making a mistake that could hurt more people. Because if you're going to pull out a firearm and shoot it in public, you are a danger to everyone around you and yourself. So glad hopefully he gets some help. Really crappy situation.
Yeah, it is just sad at this point. Einstein Boys on the FNM Bank chat says Aiden Ross is Rick Ross's brother. That can't be true.
Yeah, it's not true.
Okay.
Well, one of them is the biggest boss, and the other one is a small, pasty streamer.
There is a huge game happening at First Bank Stadium that you may look at first glance and say it should be a continuation of the success Vandy's having this season, but we'll take a closer look at Vandy versus Auburn. Playoff implications on the line. The SEC stat of the day is next. I feel like we continue to reset the conversation of biggest game in Vanderbilt modern football history. And every week from here on out, to me, Robert, is the biggest game in modern Vanderbilt football history. Because every win from here on out brings Vanderbilt another step closer to being a college football playoff team. An unfathomable thought when the college football playoff came about and when the college football playoff even expanded to 12, which obviously for the first time happened last year. But yet here they are, 3 games away. I'm wary to say controlling their own destiny. Again, I'm a broken record this week, but I cannot get rid of this feeling of this possibility. I'm a worst case scenario guy. Like, my brain racks every worst case scenario.
You never let those out, though, because when I ask you, how do you feel? You're always like, we'll be okay this week. You don't share those worst case scenarios.
Right, but it doesn't mean I don't think about them. Like, all I could do last year was think about, okay, let's say Tennessee runs the table after they dropped that loss to Georgia, and I knew this was going to be at best a 2-loss team, Tennessee. And all I could think about was, let's say they run the table. How could Tennessee still be kept out? Right? If Ole Miss wins out, if Colorado wins out and wins the Big 12, and suddenly the Big 12 is this multi-bid league, right? Like, all of these things are just racking my brain, and things worked out. Certain things fell into place for Tennessee, who probably was in anyway. They had a good enough resume that went over Bama, good losses, yada, yada, yada. Although that Arkansas game, not necessarily a good loss. I digress. Vanderbilt has a chance to run the table, go 10-2, and theoretically a 10-2 SEC team is in. They are currently the number 16 team in the college football playoff ranking. And once again, I look around at the locks, so to speak, of A&M, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss. Some crazy stuff would have to happen for any of those 4 to be left out of the playoff. That's already 4. Can you tell me how many SEC teams made the playoff last year?
4.
3
is what I was going to say. I just wanted
yeah, you got it right.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'll fix it in post.
They were Texas, Tennessee, and Georgia. So you're already at a place where it feels like a lock that minimum 4 SEC teams will get in. But then here's Vanderbilt, and here's Texas, and here's Oklahoma, and here's even Missouri, who's still hanging on to 2 losses and has some potential quality wins down the stretch. And we'll talk more about some of those other games. So all of that aside, all Vanderbilt can do is move forward here and win these next 3 games, culminating in that regular season finale at Neyland Stadium. Crazy to think that that game can happen. And for Vanderbilt, it could be a win and in, and Tennessee would be the ones playing spoiler, where those roles were completely reversed last year. But this weekend, tomorrow, 2:30 kickoff at First Bank Stadium on West End, Auburn right off the heels of firing Hugh Freeze with DJ Durkin as the interim coach.
DJ Durkin.
A man with head coaching experience in Robert's beloved ACC, leads Auburn into First Bank Stadium. Now, the SEC stat of the day is this: plays per game. Vanderbilt ranks 127th in the country in offensive plays run per game. They average only 61.8. Auburn ranks 38th. They average 71.2. Vanderbilt's offense doesn't spend a lot of time on the field, yet still, they're a top 3 scoring offense in the SEC. And Auburn, while getting a lot more plays, is a bottom 3 scoring offense in the SEC. The point here is Vanderbilt is a small margin for error type of football team offensively. They are an opportunistic team offensively. They're not going to get a lot of cracks at it. Their offense isn't going to spend a ton of time on the field, but they are efficient in the way they handle their business. They are good up front, and their defense can contain some of the best offenses in the league. The point is, though, when you get into situations like a turnover in the red zone or 2, like what happened with Diego Pavia at Alabama, like what happened early in the Texas game when Vanderbilt got in that massive hole in Austin before charging back and almost recovering that onside kick to their credit and losing by 3, their margin for error is thin no matter who they're playing. Vanderbilt's not really running SEC teams off the field. So this idea that because Auburn's got a fired head coach, going to limp into... Auburn is a talented football team, man. This is an upset alert kind of game. Vanderbilt, what do you think the spread is here for Vandy?
Let's say it at the same time.
Okay, 3, 2. Well, I know it, though.
Oh, yeah, but you do it too. You say it too.
All right, ready?
3, 2, 1.
6.
6.5.
Yeah, good job.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's exactly where my brain was. Exactly where. You're not going to get me wrong on the daggum spread 2 times in 1 hour, dude.
It's such a terrible spot to put you in. You'd be like, I don't know.
Hey, what's the spread?
2. No, you idiot.
Yeah,
It's
come
6.5.
on. Why would it be 2, you moron? Idiot.
615-737-1045. So, I'm curious about the vibe check. I want to hear from Vanderbilt fans. I feel like we've hardly heard from Vandy fans on this show. Like, what's going on? We've heard from a couple, and I enjoy it when they call in and they talk trash. I want to hear it. I heard a Vandy fan call in to Cover 2 a few weeks ago talking trash about Tony V leaving and Tennessee baseball is going to go back. Like, I love that stuff.
Yeah, you called it adorable.
Let's hear Let's hear it. 615-737-1045. I want a vibe check on this game on West End tomorrow. We put it to a poll. Who you got? At Lucas Panzica is where you can go vote. Right now, 94% of the votes are going to Vandy against Auburn. I think this is going to be a down-to-the-wire kind of game. And maybe I'm not giving Vanderbilt enough credit. But, and to be fair, I also have no clue who's going to take the bulk of the snaps at quarterback for Auburn. With a new situation, a new play caller, no Hugh Freeze, no idea if Jackson Arnold's going to come back into the fold, if Ashton Daniels is going to kind of take the reins, or if they're going to look more to the future. Deuce Knight is on that roster. I don't believe he's redshirting this year. I think Deuce Knight is figured to be the future of Auburn football. Used to play right here at Lipscomb Academy. So, Dixie on the FNM Bank chat says, Vandy always beats Auburn, even when they're terrible. Diego Pavia, certainly, always beats Auburn. Diego Pavia always beats Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze is not part of the equation. I don't know. I'm fascinated by this game on Saturday.
If we had more time, I would assume that because you did all of the worst case scenario situations, you would have all the cleanup situations as well. So what
would
have to happen?
Like the best case scenario?
Yeah, well, if you're Vanderbilt, what would be who has to lose for you to get in? Maybe later in the show we can get to that.
Yes.
What are the situations that would open up that would allow Vandy?
A rooting guide, you say?
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
We'll get to that. College football playoff implication rooting guide for Vanderbilt fans. I like that. We'll do that in hour 2. But first, to lead off hour 2, Alex Doherty will give us a vibe check, speaking of those, on the Nashville Predators, where the feeling doesn't seem to be exactly sunshine and rainbows. We'll hear from Alex Doherty of the Tennessean coming up next on 104.5 The Zone.
Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you if you are experiencing performance issues, because that happens to a lot of guys. As you get up there in age, as your body starts to change, you may notice some differences, and those things don't have to be inevitable. The Tennessee Men's Clinic has been helping guys with performance issues for over a decade. Thousands of men have got back to feeling like themselves. These aren't cookie-cutter treatments. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health. They use proven treatments tailored to your specific situation. No one size fits all. Whether you're dealing with mild or moderate ED, performance issues, or even conditions like Peyronie's disease, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options most men didn't even know were out there. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes a full medical consultation, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. So call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
What's going on? 11 o'clock. Good morning from the Circus Sports Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Thursday night football was definitely one of the games that have been played this season. Broncos win it 10-7. Geno Smith fought through a quad injury to attempt to put the Raiders in position to win the game, but an interception, a blocked punt, and a touchdown wiped out due to penalty. The Raiders were unable to capitalize. The Broncos ended the game with 6 sacks. That's 46 sacks on the year, the most through 10 games since 1990. I wasn't even alive yet. Injury report in Washington. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels' MRI and medical opinions revealed positive news as his dislocated left elbow is not as serious as originally anticipated. There is no ligament damage, and he will not require surgery. He will not be placed on injured reserve immediately, but will probably also not be available for the next couple of weeks. No Titans football, but you can listen to NSC take on Inter Miami for Game 3, winner take all. Loser goes home sad as hell. We'll have the call here. Will Bowling, Eddie Carvacho. Pregame at 6:30, game at 7. Be there or listen to it right here on 104.5 The Zone. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5. It's Friday, dude. I will wait literally all day for this.
I got nowhere to be.
Okay, cool. And what the hell? The Zone.
Welcome back. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Happy to be here. Happy to have No Buck Rising. He will come back and bring all of the stormy weather with him. Don't think it's a coincidence that that's what's happening today outside as Buck makes his way back from Miami, but you'll hear from him on Monday. In the meantime, Lucas Panzica, Robert Walsh with you. We're having a good time until 1 o'clock. Alex Doherty will join us. I don't know that he's having such a good time, that Preds fans are having a great time this season. And we'll hear from him, a quick check-in on the Nashville Predators after another loss last night. But first to the phone, 615-737-1045. Travis in Germany checking in to talk Vanderbilt football. Hey, Travis.
Guten Tag, Herr Panzica. Ich werde erst unter einer Minuten warten. Hey, I just wanted to say I have a really big feeling about Vanderbilt the last 3 games. I think it's going to be a sad day for some Tennessee Volunteer fans. I think they'll give them a good reason to be mad at wanting to fire a coach that shouldn't be fired. But that's just my thought.
Is that what you just said to us in German, too?
No, sir. I said I'll keep it under 1 minute.
Oh, fantastic.
I understand.
Fantastic. Okay.
No,
I appreciate the call. I want to hear the confidence level from this game tomorrow because this is an Auburn team that comes in on a fired head coach and Vanderbilt having no more margin for error to get to the playoff. Where are you right now on this game specifically, Travis, and Vanderbilt's ability to handle Auburn at home?
I've been a Vanderbilt fan for as long as I can remember, so confidence is not in my back pocket. But I have confidence in this 5'10", 210-pound quarterback, and I think taking a loss probably stings a little bit, especially with as much confidence and swagger that I think he holds under his belt. So I think they're going to push it to the end of the season, sir.
There you go. Are you going to this game in Berlin tomorrow, with this NFL game, Falcons and Colts, or on Sunday, rather?
No, sir. I'm stationed down here in Stuttgart, and I got duty, but I got some Bundesliga to go watch. Did some Bundesliga last night to watch the Stuttgart win last night, so that was fun. But, yeah, maybe some other time for some American football.
Fantastic.
It's pretty pricey out here, sir.
No doubt. Sounds electric. Travis, thanks for the call, man. Thanks for your service.
Yes, sir.
All right. Travis from Germany talking. How about the first Vandy call we've gotten in weeks is from Germany? I love that. Alex Doherty of the Tennessean is a Vanderbilt fan, if I'm not mistaken, Alex?
At one point in my life, yes. Sadly, but these days are a little bit better.
No doubt. I mean, definitely better than what's happening at Bridgestone Arena lately. I would love to come to you for a glimmer of light, Alex. Obviously, what's happened with the Titans season, the bye week has come, I think, somewhat mercifully for fans and players alike. 1-8. We don't need to relitigate what it's been over the last couple of months. Unfortunately, I cannot go to you here for a shining light of hope as the Preds sit here 5-7-4, other than, as you've pointed out, maybe the best start through the first 16 games in the Andrew Burnett era?
Yeah, it's like slightly better. So it's we're seeing some progress. They're 2 points better than they were last year at this time. Yeah, unfortunately, there is not a lot of not a ton of hope. I mean, maybe a little bit better than the Titans. I mean, if I'm being honest, but not a whole lot. But the problem with this team, they had last year, and they now have the same general manager. They have the same head coach. They have basically the same roster, including all of the biggest top paid players on the team, including Saros, Forsberg, Yossi, Stamkos, Marchessault, O'Reilly, everybody. They added a couple defensive pieces, and one of which in particular, Nick Perbix, I think actually has been pretty good. He's been a good addition. But all that to say, everything's the same, and we're getting the same results. They are a terrible offensive team. They are, I think, 30th in the NHL in scoring. I think that's where they were last year. They may have been 31st last year in terms of goals per game. Their power play is now terrible again. Goaltending, UC Saros he's been a little bit better, but you kind of wonder if maybe at some point he goes through a lull where he's not as good anymore, and then it gets even worse. So if anything, the only reason they're not further down the standings is because Saros and some of the defense has been better. They are dealing with an injury. Roman Yossi is injured. He's going to be out for a couple more weeks. He's got an upper body injury that he is not related to anything head related, so there's nothing to worry about there. But nothing is going well on offense. They have every night it seems like a struggle to get quality chances, and then they just can't finish. I mean, they don't have quality shooters. They don't have speedy guys. They have older, slow veterans that are struggling to create anything interesting out there. And last night was a good example. They lost 3-1 to the Flyers. They just in the third period they got 3 shots on goal. Whether they're down 1 goal and they only got 3 shots on the net. They cannot generate anything. It's not just a matter of luck. It's a matter of they can't get anything quality right now, and it's really frustrating to watch. They're a very, very boring team to watch right now for a lot of reasons.
Alex Doherty of the Tennessean with us on 104.5 The Zone. And I suppose none of it should be terribly surprising, right, Alex? That's all I remember from the offseason discourse from the Preds was, okay, run it back with a core, especially a front line that is just a year older, that was already in that category of guys beyond their prime with the likes of Stamkos and Marchessault and O'Reilly at 34 years old or older. Should it be surprising that they're in this spot at this point, 16 games in?
No, it shouldn't be. And, I should say that, they had a little bit of excitement at the beginning of the season. They chose to keep Brady Martin on the roster to start the year. And it kind of gave a little buzz to the team because it was like, okay, they're going to start an 18-year-old in the lineup. The first time they've done that in a long time. And, he was on the top line, and he played 3 games. He got an assist in there, kind of started losing ice time. And then after 3 games, they said, nope, we're going to send him back to the OHL, which for those that don't know, that means he can't come back until next season. So he's not old enough to be sent to the American Hockey League in Milwaukee. He has to go back to his junior team, so he is not going to be in Nashville again until the 26-27 season. So that was exciting, right? I mean, it was like, oh, okay, maybe they're turning a new leaf. They're gonna actually start playing the kids. Well, then they send him back. They pick up Tyson Jost, who's like a 27-year-old kind of waiver wire pickup. They are now playing guys like Eric Halla and offensive players that are not necessarily offensive players. Fedor Svechkov is young, but he is a defensive guy. So they have guys in the lineup. Michael Bunting, he's 30 years old, but he's not a great offensive talent if he doesn't have guys around him. There's just not a lot of excitement in the lineup every night. It's just like, can they grind out a 2-1, 3-2 type of win? I mean, they've had a couple games where they've had some goal explosions. Like there was a Kings game a couple weeks ago that went to a 9-round shootout. That was electric. That was a lot of fun. But most of the time, if you watch this team, it's going to be 1-0, 2-1, maybe 3-2, and that's going to be it. It's just not a lot of fun.
Everything is great around here. Titans and Preds, not fun as we get into November. Alex Doherty, the Tennessean, with us. The Brady Martin thing, how do you kind of balance that then? Or how do Preds fans balance that frustration of seeing him shipped off versus the glimmer of hope that he is for that spark of youth that has shown something to give Preds fans reason to be optimistic about his future?
I really think it's more about the decision that they tried to make it work, rather than the player himself. I do think the player is going to be good in the future. It's going to be a year or two before we really see like a regular contribution from him. I think that they have a good young prospect core, and maybe this is where they differ from the Titans, right? Like I guess with the Titans, which I don't cover every day or anything, they've got maybe one or two young guys, including Cam Ward. The Predators have probably 5 or 6 or 7 really solid, good young prospects that the rest of the league also recognizes, hey, this is a good prospect core. Brady Martin, Tanner Molendyk, Igor Surin, who's in Russia right now. They've got a kid named Riker Lee, who's at Michigan State. They've got a really good goaltender at Michigan. They've got, really good prospects, right? So if you can endure these next couple seasons of some pretty some struggles on the ice, I think that there's a light at the end of the tunnel where there's a good young prospect core, a new core, so to speak, and Brady Martin is a part of that. He would be a center. I think he has future captain material written all over him. I think he's that guy. So that is the hope that you have to have, but it certainly doesn't make it easy in the short run. If you are considering going to a Predators game this year, it's just I don't know what to tell you. Don't expect a lot. It's not going to be a lot of fun, and it's just. But if you can endure, give it a couple seasons, and you'll see something better on the ice. I think.
Alex Doherty of the Tennessean with us. I do want to play this audio that you got in the locker room yesterday after that 3-1 loss to Philadelphia of Ryan O'Reilly. I don't know, Alex, that I've ever heard an athlete candidly bashing himself, right? That's what it is, as much as O'Reilly did in this quote following the game last night at Bridgestone Arena.
Can't make a 6-foot pass to save my life, so I'm not going to have much success if, I'm playing pathetic like that. So it's stupid. I don't know the answer. I've had one good year in my career, and I don't have any answers, that's for sure.
One good year in my career, obviously referencing that electric 2019 Cup run for the Blues where Ryan O'Reilly just took over in the postseason. But what did you make of that, Alex? It was jarring to see a professional athlete talk like that.
Well, first of all, I want to point out, if you hear that and if you watch the video, when he says I've had one good year in my career, there's a pause, and he says there's a pause there where I think you wanted to add some choice words. I've had one good year in my career, but so he was very frustrated, very angry at himself. Here's the thing. It's become sort of a routine with him, maybe a little bit. He is the most self-critical person that I've seen in the locker room. It's almost kind of a running gag with the other media. If we talk to Ryan O'Reilly after a loss, we need to make sure he's okay, because it's going to be bad. He's going to shoulder all the blame. Which, by the way, he scored the only goal for the Predators last night. So,
yeah, there you go.
It was a little of a lucky goal. It kind of bounced off of him. But obviously he's had more than one good year in his career. The 2019 Cup run was big for him. But, the guy has 800 points in the NHL in 1,100 games. He's definitely a good player. I think that the frustration is I really feel like he's just not a number one center right now. He is the team's number one center, but he's really more of a 2 and possibly even a 3. If he was to get traded to somewhere like Edmonton or Florida or Tampa or a contending team, Vegas, for sure Vegas, he would be like a second or third line center and would be outstanding. He would be just a perfect fit. But he has to be Mr. Everything on this team. He's he's near the top of the team in points, and outside of him and Philip Forsberg, that's the entire offense right now. It's Forsberg and O'Reilly that are generating any kind of offense. So he is very hard on himself. I think that it's not just performative either. I think he really feels like he is not doing enough to help. It's frustrating to hear because, the guy works harder than anyone. He's first on the ice for practice. He'll be the last to leave every time. and he's just a consummate hard worker. No one works harder than him. So it is frustrating to hear, and you feel for him a little bit.
Man, Alex Doherty of the Tennessean with us. Follow his work at Alex Doherty1 on Twitter for all of your Preds coverage. Alex, appreciate the time, man. Hopefully next time we chat, it's the sun's shining a little brighter.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.
Hey,
Yes,
love you,
sir.
Alex.
Thanks, man.
He didn't hear you, buddy.
He said thank
No,
you.
but he was.
He
It broke up.
said thank you.
Sometimes the signal's
Why
not.
do you say thank you to someone that
No,
says
but
I
I
love
think he was
you?
just saying thank you for the segment. Sometimes the signal, it doesn't. Yeah, I think that phone or that mic, it doesn't connect through it that well.
I thought he would say it.
He didn't hear
Really
you.
thought he would say
He didn't
it.
hear you, buddy.
And Mac's not even on today. Mac always says it. Mac always says it.
I love you, buddy.
I love you too.
Preds have not caught a lot of breaks either. Before the 3-1 loss yesterday, they were coming off a stretch of back-to-back insane overtime losses, officiating in the mix too, and here they are, 6th place in the Central. Man, Nashville SC carrying the torch for Nashville Professional Sports, trying to keep it rolling tomorrow at Miami for Game 3. The Preds back in action tomorrow at 2:30, hosting the Dallas Stars to finish out a homestand before they hit the road to New York on Monday. Big weekend of college football playoff implications. We'll go through it step by step, including what it might mean, a rooting guide for Vanderbilt football. That's next at 104.5 The Zone. It's always the weekends that are lacking that one marquee top 5 SEC or Big Ten matchup that sneak up on you, that end a team's playoff hopes, that bring the biggest upset of the year. And it feels like this is one of those weekends that's potentially brewing, where the biggest game on the docket from a pure ranking standpoint is number 7 BYU, undefeated, just quietly going about their business, winning games, blowing teams out of the water, except ECU. 34-14, but it was close. It was closer than it looked. You didn't let me finish.
If you bring the numbers up, it doesn't matter if you say it wasn't that. It was a close game.
Don't censor me.
I'm not censoring. I want you to censor yourself.
I'm giving all the information. It was closer than it looked, buddy.
34-14. I was so passionate about it, too. I was like, they could have beat BYU, dude. And we looked at it. It was a closer game. I feel like they scored late, man. They scored late.
Well, they go to Texas Tech, number 7 at number 8, monster Big 12 matchup, 2 teams in the top 10 in Lubbock, an 11 a.m. kickoff on ABC. But when you talk about the rankings, that little number next to the team name, that's the biggest one on the board. So, okay. Alabama, LSU doesn't have the juice that you thought it was going to have before the season. Penn State, Indiana certainly doesn't have the juice you thought it was going to have. If you told me IU would be a 14.5-point favorite heading into State College, I would have said you were insane, and here we are. And I think Indiana wants to mop the floor with Penn State. This is what I love about Curt Cignetti, man. I feel like he wants to run up the score on everybody he plays, especially if he's going to go into an environment like Penn State when they're just in wounded animal mode. If I'm not mistaken, their backup quarterback right now is a wide receiver, right? No Drew Aller. Season's lost. Franklin's fired. They've lost 5 games. They are winless in the Big Ten. That's crazy. That would be so unfathomable in July to say 0-5 start in the Big Ten, and here they are. That's the big noon kickoff, and I think Curt Cignetti wants to hang 60. The total in this game is 50.5. Penn State still got good players is the thing. They've got NFL players on both. They're a more talented roster than Indiana, and I think Indiana's about to come in here and just smack them around.
I think college football should establish the Cignetti rule. If you score 50 on another team, you can smoke a cig on the sideline. How badass would it be? Indiana's just plowing through Penn State, something they've probably never done.
Does Sig smoke cigs, you think?
I mean, he was okay with the Marlboro logo on all those towels for Cignetti. So
That's good marketing.
I think he would smoke one. You don't think Cignetti would smoke a cig?
I'm sure it's.
I'm telling you.
After he lays it down Curt Cignetti style on Penn State.
Say he's at Lakeside Lounge. He's going in there for a cold and frothy beer, and he steps outside on that nice little parking lot they have.
No free shout-outs.
Oh, yeah, I should mix it up.
That means they owe us money now. This is good.
I will mix the name up. I will swap the letters. Lakeside Lounge. Dang it. You telling me Curt wouldn't go out there and smoke a quick little cig out in the parking lot, flick it at somebody's car, and head back in there, hit on some other man's wife? Curt Cignetti would do that.
All right.
You buying what I'm putting down?
I'm picking up what you're putting down. 615-737-1045. So it's one of those weekends that after BYU Texas Tech, which I don't know what that interest is going to be around here. It's a huge game for the college football playoff. You should be watching it if you're one of these teams, if you're a fan base of Vanderbilt. Now, you'll be prepping for your own game. None of it matters if you don't take care of business against Auburn, obviously. But if you are a fan of the likes of Vanderbilt, of Missouri, of even Texas and Oklahoma, because here's the thing. The cutoff line for the 12-team college football playoff is not after 12. Texas right now is the number 11 ranked team in the country. Oklahoma is the number 12 ranked team in the country. Both of them are currently out of the picture because the highest ranked ACC team's got to get in. The highest ranked group of 5 teams got to get in. Highest ranked ACC team at the moment is UVA, having a dream season. Virginia, number 14, 8-1, 5-0 in the ACC. By the way, if you could please, ACC truther, help me make sense of the fact that Virginia technically is undefeated in conference play, but their one loss this year is against NC State, but it wasn't a conference game.
They just do some goofy stuff.
Help me out with that, man.
The Virginia fan, the Who's are upset because who was it? Tony Bennett? What was their longtime basketball
Tony Bennett was the
coach?
basketball coach.
So, yeah, so they are used to being a perennial power in basketball. Tony Bennett retired. He realized that his brand of basketball was far too boring for the modern fan, so he decided he was going to hightail it home. Virginia fans did not know what to do with themselves, so I assume they poured all of the money that they were pouring into their basketball program into football, and now they can play. So who cares if you play someone in your conference and it's not really a conference game? I think the SEC should take a page out of their book. Start scheduling somebody outside that's in your conference for an out-of-conference game. Who would that be for Tennessee? Who would you like them to schedule as a conference out-of-conference
to where
game?
It doesn't affect your conference.
It does not affect
resume.
Your yeah, you would probably love to put Georgia or Bama there.
Yes,
if
that'd
you
be
lose,
fantastic.
It doesn't really matter. For your
Absolutely.
conference
Sign
record.
me up.
You would be down for that.
Sign me up. Yes.
I don't know. You need to talk to the ACC commissioner of how he gets to swing things like that.
35-31, NC State beat UVA in the first week of September, but it was a non-conference conference game.
If you are a college football fan and your team needs a quarterback next year, look no further than NC State freshman C.J. Bailey. This kid has been electric.
Yeah, he's
this
awesome.
year.
He's awesome.
There is absolutely no way he stays in Raleigh.
Yeah.
There is no chance.
No, you're
so
right.
any SEC program out there, any fans, I mean, Big 10, Big 12, I don't think it matters. There's no way he stays there with Dave Doran and tries to slug it out for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, to go maybe 6-6 and a 7-5 here and there. So UVA is your highest-ranked ACC program. They're at number 14. They're in the top 12 when that bracket comes out if the season ends today. Memphis is not in the top 25, yet they are the highest-ranked G5 team, so they have an automatic qualifier. What has not changed about the college football playoff this year is the automatic qualifier situation. What has changed is the seeding situation. We no longer have this ridiculousness of if, last year, the top 4 seeds were the 4 highest-ranked conference champs. So you had Arizona State, who despite being the number 16 team in the country, was the 4 seed in the college football playoff. And they did end up playing a classic against Texas and were this close to winning, so credit to them. But it was a ridiculous seeding format. That's out the window. Seeding now is straight up. The top 4 seeds are 1 through 4, however it's ranked, regardless of who the highest-ranked conference champ is from where. But those AQs are still there. So the ACC champ is in, highest-ranked G5 champ, all of these things. So with that in mind, if you're a Vanderbilt fan and you're watching the action this weekend, it's not even about, can we just crack that top 12? It can be about, can we crack the top 10? So you're rooting against Notre Dame as they host Navy. You want that upset, 6:30 game on NBC.
Don't get your hopes up.
No, don't. I got my hopes up about that last year. Navy went in undefeated to that game and just got shellacked. Of course, Notre Dame's going to do this, man. Lose the first 2 games against good football teams and then cruise the rest of the way into the playoff. Whatever. You are rooting for the ACC to be a 1-bid league, which means you're rooting for Cal to beat number 15 Louisville, who is ranked ahead of you right now if you're a Vandy fan. Game's not on the West Coast. Cal heading over to L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium. What an awful name. And that's a nice stadium.
The house that Lamar Jackson built, you stop that.
Absolutely. It's a nice day. I drive by Louisville. I drive through Louisville pretty often. I'll be driving up to Toledo to see Megan. Big win for the Rockets this week.
We'll have to talk to Kern about that.
Used to be Papa John's Stadium, right? I think they had to take out.
No, it wasn't.
I think it was, yeah. They had to take down all the, because John Schnatter is a huge.
Better ingredients, better players, Papa John's.
Oh, it was right there. Oh, why couldn't Papa John's have gotten canceled after NIL? Damn. But come on, what is that? L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium? The basketball arena is the KFC Yum Center. We got to do it better.
No, it's not.
Yes.
The Yum
That's
Center?
where Louisville plays basketball. Like, these are gorgeous venues. Louisville's football stadium is impressive. It is like an SEC level, just looking at it, driving the capacity, it looks like a behemoth. They did a nice job of making it. You drive past that stadium and not even seeing the logo, you're like, okay, big games are played here. It's that kind of stadium, but it's the L&N Federal Credit Union. Come on.
They don't have a big donor. It couldn't be like the Gloria Gaynor Stadium or something like that. They couldn't reach out to somebody from Louisville. I don't think Gloria Gaynor is.
Is she still with us?
But that would be, if there was a Gloria Gaynor stadium, that place would be immaculate.
She's from Newark. She's 82.
Unfortunately.
Still with us.
Love that. Put some RSP, however you spell it. Like
wrong,
banana.
wrong. We'll keep it moving.
Yeah.
So you're rooting for Cal.
I will survive. That's her, right?
Yes, that's
okay.
You're rooting for Cal to go into Louisville and win that game. You're rooting for Wake Forest to go into UVA and win that game. Pile up those ACC losses. ACC's got to get one team in, but what you don't want is for UVA and Louisville to run the table here and meet in the conference championship game and even have to have the discussion of, does that last 10-2 SEC team get in over the ACC team that only lost one game the whole regular season, but the discussion of getting punished for losing in a conference championship? SMU didn't get punished for that last year. They got in over the likes of Alabama, who had 3 losses, but still, that's part of the rooting guide this weekend if you're a Vandy fan. You're rooting for Missouri to go ahead and be out of the picture, but you've got the head-to-head. It's not so much a worry, I think, if you're a Vanderbilt fan. They're ranked 22nd, Vanderbilt ranked 16th. But you're also rooting for the Big 12 to be a one bid league, if I could talk. BYU is undefeated. They're at Texas Tech. Biggest game in Lubbock since Michael Crabtree in 2008 beating Texas. Remember that game?
I don't remember it, but I remember Michael Crabtree being a phenom. I thought he was going to be like the next dude, man.
Yeah, and had a solid career.
Yeah, solid career. That's a great way to put it. He was solid. He got his chain snatched by Aqib Talib, but no big deal.
Yeah, that is the thing, I guess, the most memorable things about Michael Crabtree's NFL career were Richard Sherman yelling at Aaron Andrews.
Jinx, you owe me a soda. When you try me like with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's what you get.
All-timer of a rant.
As far as post games go, I would agree with you. How do you feel about? I feel like as a fan and not someone who really knows the ins and outs of these things, if I wanted, say my team is Vanderbilt and I'm sitting at 16 looking in, and I see that 8-9 matchup, I would think, okay, one of those guys lose, and that's going to give a spot for me. But how far would one of those teams lose when it's a top 10 matchup, realistically?
Yeah.
Because it's a quality loss. It's not like, hey, they got blown out, or hey, they lost at home, where they could say, oh, well, they're a lesser team. Like, now I feel like it doesn't help your case at all, whether who wins or loses.
No, you're right. You're right about the Big 12 matchup. Texas Tech is a one-loss team. BYU is undefeated. They are looking like they're on a collision course to meet in the Big 12 championship game if they take care of business the rest of the way, regardless of what happens in this game. But the most likely path to me for the Big 12 to have 2 or more bids would be for Texas Tech to win this game, and then they meet, and then Texas Tech wins the Big 12, and BYU is just a 1 or 2 loss team that's lost to Texas Tech twice, including in the conference championship game, and then Utah is kind of over here lurking as well. If you are Vanderbilt, you don't want the Big 12 to even be in the discussion of 2 or 3 bids. But to your point, yes, a loss here either way would not knock BYU or Texas Tech out of the discussion. I'm with you on that. I just look at it as Texas Tech has a loss. You'd love for Texas Tech to be on equal footing as you with a second loss. But it is a fair point. Another thing you're rooting for the weather to be disgusting tomorrow in Iowa City, which it will be, when Oregon visits Iowa in a day of high of 44, low of 33, cold, rain, perfect Iowa Hawkeye football, as the Hawkeyes quietly just plugging along, 6-2, 4-1 in the Big Ten. They've been a big old laughing stock over the last few years with Kirk Ferentz doing his thing. By the way, the longest tenured head coach in college football, active right now. His son Brian was the offensive coordinator. We all pointed and laughed. They couldn't get first downs, but here they are, just taking care of their business. And they're at home against an Oregon team that's favored by a touchdown on the road.
What time is kickoff?
That is a 2:30 game on CBS.
That's when it looks like the rain is 100% chance of rainfall near a quarter of an inch.
Oh, it's going to get gross.
Oh, I love it, though. I love it. Especially, I think those Iowa uniforms don't look good unless they are disgusting. Unless it looks like a 1920s Leatherhead match. Like you've got, who's the good-looking actor that was in the Leatherheads movie?
George Clooney?
Yes, George Clooney. Unless George Clooney is out there just disgusting in the mud.
What a random movie to assign to George Clooney. I remember that movie. John Krasinski was in that movie.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
It was entertaining. This game's going to be gross. I think Oregon is one of those teams that's kind of being penciled in despite that loss to IU, but there's this assumption they're going to run the table. They're going to have to gut it out against Iowa, who's going to be at home, who's going to be comfortable. Make no mistake, Oregon is good in the trenches. They have been since Dan Lanning arrived. They got a stable of backs that can run the football. They're the second best rushing team in yards per game in the Big Ten. Dante Moore back from injury. They had the bye week last week. He got hurt the week before that in a win over Wisconsin. but they still got to play USC and go to Washington, a team that's quietly been good this season. So if you're a Vanderbilt fan, you wouldn't mind Oregon slipping up a couple of times this season and plummeting out of that discussion. And then in the SEC, where LSU's at Bama, and I don't even think this game's worth talking about. I think Bama's going to stomp all over LSU. I think that program feels like it's on. I could see Auburn getting that interim bump. Florida, to their credit, played really tough four-quarter game against Georgia. I don't see it with LSU. Maybe I'm proven wrong in Tuscaloosa.
Who was the interim coach?
Oh.
If I wouldn't ask you, you'd have told me. But at least the way I'm looking at it, which coach was more disliked by the players, Hugh Freeze or Brian Kelly?
Frank Wilson.
Frank, where you been? Frank Wilson sounds like your dad's friend that would like take you fishing when your dad got called to do something at work. Dad, you promised. Frank will take you. You'll have fun. Catch plenty of crappie.
So, sorry, who's more unlikable?
Yeah, which coach to the players was more unlikable, Hugh Freeze or Brian Kelly? Because my idea of the interim coach bump is that guy's gone. I'm excited to play again. I would argue Brian Kelly was more hated by his players.
Fair.
So like, if someone was going to get an interim coach bump for the thank God that guy's out of here, I get to play again and be myself, I would think LSU would get the bump. But they also have the tougher opponent to overcome.
I don't see any life in this LSU team, man. They just were so dead in the water, especially in the second half of that A&M game, where I've seen Auburn scratch and claw this year. Hugh Freeze got fired because of the quarterback mishaps over and over. But yeah, there was, and then you get the stuff coming out after a coach gets fired, right? Like Hugh Freeze was playing like Hillsong worship music to fire up his team at practice. And I mean, I've seen Auburn fans that are pastors out there going like, listen, love Jesus, but don't know if that's what I want for my guys when I'm getting ready to go try to beat Alabama before the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, pump it up. Everybody in the worship ball.
And then Texas A&M's at Missouri. Another game that's kind of being written off. A&M, 6.5-point favorites. Missouri with a freshman quarterback, a guy that has had a couple weeks to prepare, a bye week. He got thrown in against Vanderbilt, Matt Zollers, and this kid can sling it. Texas A&M, are they really going to run the table here? If they have a loss, if they have a slip-up, it'll be at Missouri or it'll be against Texas on the road. In an era where it's so hard to run the table in the SEC, I don't know about that game. And that wouldn't eliminate either team either way. Well, it certainly would eliminate Missouri, but it wouldn't eliminate A&M from the discussion. They'd still be with a great opportunity to go to Atlanta. But I'm just you kind of have that game out of the corner of your eye. A&M going to Missouri. Missouri looking for revenge after getting dusted on the road at A&M last year. Freshman quarterback, though, against that Mike Elko defense, a tall task. And then there's Georgia at Mississippi State. And Mississippi State has come so close on so many occasions against Tennessee, against Texas, where they have scored with these teams. And Blake Shapen has had a great year. And they finally got that first SEC win against Arkansas. But if there's any upset alert in the SEC between Vanderbilt hosting Auburn and Mississippi State hosting Georgia, Georgia's gotten into some funky games this year. If I'm going to put an upset alert more on one as opposed to the other, I think I'm putting it on Mississippi State with those cowbells clanging as 9.5-point dogs at home to Georgia.
Is this wishful thinking by you?
Maybe.
Because if Georgia lost to Mississippi State, your win over them would look better. I feel like you're trying to paint a picture here, Lucas.
I just got this feeling about Mississippi State, man. They're owed one of these wins. They should have one already. I mean, to be honest, that Tennessee game, just down to the wire, overtime loss. Vols fortunate to get out. Arch Manning coming alive in the fourth quarter for Texas, and they give up that long punt return for a touchdown. Another overtime loss. They have had their heart ripped out of their bodies multiple times this season, Mississippi State, and they can score. They can score with Georgia in this game, especially at home. Jeff Lebby deserves so much credit for what that team has done this year despite their record. And they have two opportunities to get one of those, at home against Georgia and when they play Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl. And if either of those games is going to have more weirdness, without a doubt, it's going to be the Egg Bowl. But another game, 11 a.m. too, early kick. Another game that I'm just kind of like peeking at. Like, okay, let's see what happens here. Vols are out of the picture, right? Like, I don't even care. It makes Tennessee's win over Mississippi State look good. Great. Whatever. There are 3 losses. They're done. I just want chaos. I just want chaos.
What are you more excited for this weekend? the SEC slate of games or the winner-take-all NSC Inter-Miami game.
Oh,
You can only pick one.
Miami, Nashville, Miami. Yeah, it's just a huge opportunity for the club. Obviously, I have a certain investment in that as well. But maybe we'll hit on that with Brett Kern. We'll pick some games with Brett Kern in hour 3. What do we have to give away for Friday Fire?
Some more tickets to go see OAR, who you made me listen to one of their songs this morning. And yeah.
Well, let's not denigrate the award.
I was
It's a great band.
I was not impressed, but that doesn't mean that someone else might not enjoy it. Just because, like, I may like polka doesn't mean that you're going to whip out an accordion and start regaling us with, that sounded more like a goose. But you know what I mean? If you like OAR, tell us what made your week good. Tell us what happened good in your life. It doesn't have to be sports. It can be in your life.
How many tickets?
Call. 2.
When?
2. Oh, God.
When and where?
Why you got to ask me stuff
we'll
like
fill
this?
in all those details.
No, I got it. It's next year in August 28th, next year at First Bank Amphitheater. Would be a great show to.
Great venue.
I don't think that there's a bad show you could have there.
No, great venue, great acoustics. Saw Tedeschi Trucks Band there recently. Saw Tenacious D there a couple years ago. Great show.
What a wide array of acts you've seen there.
615-737-1045. A pair of OAR tickets. Tell us something positive. What made you feel good? It could be in sports. It doesn't have to. Give us your Friday Fire. 615-737-1045. And the best submission will get the tickets. That's next on 1045 The Zone.
You want to make sure that your money is right. You want to make sure that you're financially independent. And that is something that Trajan Wealth can help you with because the holiday season is already upon us. It's not too late to check this year's financial resolution off your list. Give Trajan Wealth a call today to start achieving your financial goals, and they will put you in position to succeed. If you are wondering, do I have enough to retire or am I missing something? Meet with Trajan Wealth and at least get a second opinion because they will give you answers and a real plan. They're not just advisors, they're fiduciaries, and they will treat you like family. You will become a client because they will earn your trust and take the stress off your shoulders. Call Trajan Wealth and get your plan started today. 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000, or visit them online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement.
2 tickets to see OAR at First Bank Amphitheater next August. 615-737-1045. All you got to do is give us something positive, something that made you smile. Sports, not sports. It doesn't matter. Lucas Panzica, Robert Walsh with you. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Could make that my Friday Fire. The fact that you can make your Thanksgiving hot with Hattie B's, HattieB.com. Whole fried turkeys, Bishop's carrot souffle, cheesy hot chicken dip. Supplies don't last forever. So rush to HattieB.com now to let them take care of your Thanksgiving for you. Doesn't that sound lovely?
It sounds incredible. It sounds incredible. What's even more incredible is that the fact that when Buck is not here, we did not fill the studio with cilantro and onion smell for Brett Kern.
No, we did not. And he rewarded us. He brought a little bit of banana bread. Or a pumpkin bread.
I am so tickled.
Bread.
I am so tickled to try it. I can't wait, man. I can't even. Let's get this over with.
All right.
You want to start us off, or you want me to?
Rico Dowdle is my Friday Fire. He's on fire. He's had a phenomenal season. He's really emerged for the Carolina Panthers as they're on this run here. They've won 4 of 5. They've got a great opportunity to take care of business against the lowly Saints this weekend and improve to 6-4 in 2025. And Rico Dowdle, in a massive win for the Panthers at Lambeau Field against the Packers last week, rushed in a touchdown. He ended up with 130 yards, another 100-yard game, 2 touchdowns. One of his 2 touchdowns, he ran it in to give the Panthers a 13-6 lead in the third quarter, and he did the Key and Peele celebration, the double pump, if you know what I'm talking about. Hands on the head, the hip thrust, but he only did 2. He didn't do 3, as everybody knows. If you watch that Key and Peele sketch, the third pump gets you flagged, it gets you fined. And he only did the 2 pumps.
It's just 2.
And they threw the flag.
And he got fined.
And they fined him. And Rico Dowdle has put out a GoFundMe for his fines from the NFL. And he has turned the GoFundMe into a great cause for Children's Home Society of North Carolina. He has raised over $25,000 for that organization. And here's the caption on the GoFundMe. After much thought, I've launched a GoFundMe for my fines. Key said, I got 3 pumps, but I guess the NFL disagrees. Actually, 100% of what is raised through this fundraiser will be sent to Children's Home Society of North Carolina. Children's Home Society promotes the right of every child to a permanent, safe, and loving family. They specialize in education and prevention programs, family preservation, and adoption and foster care. Let's raise some money. Again, $25K raised by Rico Dowdle. Egregious to throw the flag after only 2 pumps. I think that should be written into the rule book that 3 or more pumps get you the flag, but very cool to see Rico Dowdle, A, having fun with it, and B, turning it into a really good cause. Robert?
Are you familiar with the song 100 Shots by Young Dolph?
Of course.
First think about your life, then think about your past. That's kind of what I like to do on Fridays. I like to have a little perspective about where you used to be, where you go, where your dreams are taking you. And this story reminds me that you should never give up on your dreams. There's always a way to make it work. Even if you're losing, even if your team is getting outscored 480-12 over the season, you should not give up. And that is what, well, actually, this team did give up. Compton College, which is a JUCO program, which features 45-year-old former Compton mayoral candidate wide receiver Lamar Lewis, his son, Jonah Willis, who has and then they also have a 50-year-old defensive end named Orson Villalobos. They have decided to forfeit their final 2 games of the season.
Why?
It ends their season at 0-10. They hadn't won a single game.
Okay, but what were the scores?
And the scoring margin, what I already noted, 480-12. They kicked 4 field goals this year.
Oh, no.
They didn't even score a touchdown all year long.
So what's your Friday Fire? Just 50-year-olds keeping the dream alive?
My Friday Fire is Orson Villalobos deserves better than this. Orson deserves for the team to stand up. The man is 50 years old.
What position?
He's a defensive end.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a linebacker. He's rushing the passer. I wish I could show you guys this guy's face. But that would mean I would also have to show you his statistics on the year. Yeah, he's gotten a tackle.
Okay.
A singular tackle.
For a 50-year-old, at what level of college football
if
is
you're not
this?
starting as a 50-year-old, what are we doing? Yeah, I need to start.
Well, he
or I'm
might
not-
be starting.
Now.
They just can't tackle
for the
anybody.
nobodies.
What level is this? Like community college?
Yeah, JUCO,
Okay.
Compton College JUCO football.
Oh, my goodness.
So some of these guys looking for an opportunity, some of these guys playing for their last meal, and it's over. They forfeited. Kids, don't give up on your dreams. Even if you're getting outscored 480-12, don't give up. Stay here as long as you can.
Keep the dream alive. 615-737-1045 for a chance to win OAR tickets. Philip in Hendersonville up first. Hey, Philip.
Hey, I'm the guy that Buck likes to call the Friday Fire liar.
Oh.
And my Friday Fire is that Buck is not here to say, don't lie like that one guy did. And I know that he couldn't say that this week because he's out of town. And I swear I'm living in his head rent-free. But that's my Friday Fire. I can't win, but it's just nice to not hear him bring me up.
Thanks for the call, Philip. You do live in his head rent-free. He can never stop talking about you, and it ruins his day, and I appreciate that. Bobby in Nashville is up next.
Hey, this guy's a great big phony.
Hey, guys.
Go ahead, Bobby.
My Friday Fire is that yesterday I celebrated 20 years sober.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Bobby. That's awesome, man. All right, stay on hold for your chance to win. 20 years sober. That is an accomplishment. Very, very cool. Russell in Nashville's up next. Hey, Russell.
Hey, Friday Fire. I've got coaching a young kids indoor soccer team, bunch of them new, on a 2-win streak, and got a doubleheader tomorrow. So most of all, they're having fun.
What's the love that? What's the team called?
It's to be determined. Every week we got to work on team names. So
Oh, okay.
the Diamond Dogs right now is the winner.
Diamond Dogs.
Diamond Dogs for a soccer team. Okay.
So what's
All
the
right.
overall record?
2-0, but hopefully 4-0 after tomorrow.
Love that.
Robert, you got any ideas for a team name?
Who do you have any hefty children? You have any large kids playing in the goalie?
Taller, not as much hefty.
You got to get some fat kids. Got to get some fat kids
How
on
about
that
the
team.
Hattie B's Fire Breathers?
Oh,
Yeah, there we go.
We'll get some logos on there. I'm going to hit up Nick Bishop. We'll see what we can do. Very cool, Russell. Thanks for the call. That's awesome. 2-0, trying to get to 3-0, and they're having a great time
he jinxed it.
playing the beautiful game.
CJ Frazier adds something in the F&M Bank chat. I quit smoking August 27th. Not quite 20 years. That's still a big thing, dude.
No.
Quitting anything,
Yeah.
like that's something that you had built into your normal everyday habit, the ritual. That's the toughest part of me. I would have done quit smoking 14 times over if everything didn't tick me off so hard. But it's part of your ritual. Something pisses you off. You got to go outside and smoke a cigarette. Something it's part of you when you're driving home. So if you're able to quit anything that's not good for you that you built into your regiment, hats off to you
That's a
because it's
credit
tough
to you.
as hell to do.
For sure. CJ points out Diamond Dogs, a Ted Lasso reference. That's right. Been a while since I watched Ted
I
Lasso.
like that, but they were losing. They were losing on Ted Lasso.
That's right. No, Russell's team is 2-0.
What was the evil guy's name?
Well, Nate, but Rupert, isn't he the owner of Aston Villa?
Rupert's Rovers. Send them in.
Bobby gets the tickets, right?
Yeah, got to go with that.
20 years sober, Bobby. Congratulations, man. Keep at it. I love to hear that, and I hope you enjoy OAR coming up next August. It's a ways away, but you'll forget about it, and then you'll remember, oh, yeah, I've got these concert tickets coming up. So appreciate everybody hanging out. Brett Kern is in studio. We'll talk to him about the Titans trade deadline. We'll pick some games and more coming up next.
What's going on? Noon o'clock. It's Friday. You got a little bit more until the weekend. What's going on? Circus Sports Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Thursday night football last night was definitely one of the games that's been played this season. As the Broncos win it 10-7, Geno Smith fought through a quad injury to attempt to put the Raiders in position to win, but an interception, a blocked punt, a touchdown wiped out due to a penalty, and the Raiders were unable to capitalize. The Broncos ended the game with 6 sacks, 46 on the year. That's the most through 10 games since 1990. An injury update in Washington. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels' MRI and medical opinions revealed positive news as his dislocated left elbow is not as serious as originally anticipated. There was no ligament damage, and he won't need surgery, but he will be not be back for a number of weeks. He will not immediately be placed on injured reserve at the hope that he could return before those 4-week deadline. No Titans football this weekend, but you can listen to NSC take on Inter Miami for Game 3. Winner takes all. Loser goes home sad as hell. We have the call here with Will Bowling, Eddie Carvacho. Pregame at 6:30. Games at 7. Listen to it right here on 104.5 The Zone. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour, and as we do each and every Friday at 12 o'clock, Titans legend, former punter Brett Kern is in studio with us. Much to discuss. We've got Titans trade deadline in the rear view as they head into the bye week, where they go from here in the second half of the season. An NFL, a college football slate to pick. Pretty big game for Nashville SC Saturday night, and Brett Kern is in studio sporting, I love the throwback look. The Nashville SC jacket, is that from when they did the denim throwback game?
Yeah, the throwback. I ordered it like 2 weeks before the game, and it came like 2 months later. So it must have been a pretty popular item. I think it was on back order through Fanatics. But yeah, it's a little rain jacket. Might get a little rain today.
Yeah.
So I figured why not support the boys in gold as they head down to Miami Saturday with no Luis Suarez. Which is interesting. I was trying to, we were talking to the break, trying to find an analogy of what that's like not to have a player like Suarez. If you're not a soccer person, kind of what's that like. But in other sports, losing somebody like that. But, we're talking, he's kind of older, slower, easy to mark. But, man, when he gets that ball inside the 18 or close to it, he's a wizard as far as distributing it and creating chances. So I'll be curious to see, what it looks like without him out there and if that helps Nashville SC. And, kind of pick up on the momentum of that home game. So, and, Miami's got a little bit, talk about last year's playoffs where, they beat Atlanta the first game and then they lose in Atlanta to tie the series. And then Atlanta goes on the road to Inter Miami and beats them 3-2 last year to win the series. So I'm sure there's some thoughts. Some trauma and knowing that some of these guys, kind of that Fab Four, these guys coming over from Europe, with Messi, knowing that they're retiring. So there's definitely a lot more pressure, I think, on Miami than there is in Nashville. So hopefully that frees them up to go play a great brand of soccer Saturday night and get the dub.
No doubt. I mean, there's so many. And we're going to talk about Mike Borgonzi's press conference, Titans trade deadline reaction. I do want to get Brett's thoughts on that, what he had to say about Jarvis Brownlee, keeping Jeffrey Simmons, all these things. But when you reference that Miami game last year, I mean, I think back to one key thing, but there are multiple X factors in this game, right? Whether it's Hani Mukhtar and Sam Surridge and being able to fight fire with fire and finish your chances with the Miami team that can score to a level that's
it's really messy. That can score from anywhere.
But for me, Brett, the X factor here is Joe Willis, because when you look back to last year's game, yes, Atlanta lost game one, won game two, like Nashville did, and Nashville trying to repeat that shocking game 3 win in Miami. And Atlanta had an interim coach at the time, too. Crazy upset. But Brad Guzan, who just announced his retirement, legend of the game of U.S. soccer, between the posts, just a legendary performance. Like, stood on his head, miraculous save after save in that game 3. Joe Willis, who had a point-blank save on Luis Suarez in Game 2, I think is going to have some massive moments for Nashville to survive this game, which, to his credit, he has all season.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing great this year. It's kind of one of those, Preds in the playoffs, Pekka Rinne type moments, where Pekka goes out there and, lets in 1 goal on 35 saves, right? That kind of situation. So I'll be curious, too, earlier in the year when Nashville SC went down to Miami and Joe kind of had that little hiccup. It was actually, a big hiccup and just, trying to clear the ball and hit it right to Messi. And they ended up losing that game 2-1. So hopefully that's kind of, out of the back of his mind and can go down there, play a free game. And, like I said, Nashville's, they're not playing really with any pressure. It's really all on Miami. And I can't wait to watch it.
Can't wait, man. Tomorrow you can hear the radio call right here on The Zone, 7 p.m. Huge opportunity for Nashville SC in what's already been a historic season. Will Bowling will have the call with Eddie Carvacho pregame at 6:30. Okay, you watched Mike Borgonzi, his press conference, Titans trade deadline. They stood pat beyond the Draymond Jones move to Baltimore, a 5th that could become a 4th if he has 2 sacks and the Ravens make the playoffs. Yep. Right. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's aside from the Brownlee trade and the McCreary trade, really the only other 2 moves they made in this sort of window. What did you make of Borgonzi and the way he kind of communicated their thinking and their strategy and how they went about things going into this trade deadline and bye week?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he didn't have to have that press conference, right? There's not a lot of GMs that would do that. So I think for him to have a press conference, obviously over the bye week, just to communicate to fans, people are taking their hard-earned money, whether it's buying season tickets, PSLs, whatever, in the new stadium, or just people that come to games on Sundays that are just faithful Titan fans, right? This is kind of for them, for those Titan fans that are just diehard fans, and they just kind of want to know the direction of where the team's going. And so I think he did a great job of kind of laying out the plan, what they're looking for in the locker room, explaining the McCreary trade, Draymond Jones, and understanding those 2 trades, and they make sense. And then obviously the Brownlee trade going into that. And I mean, I'm not, if I was in the locker room every day and understanding what kind of guy he is, he seems well liked. But, if it's practice habits or whatever, that's just like, hey, this isn't what we're looking for. They felt like they needed to trade him. They trade him. So, but he communicated that. Obviously, was clear about Big Jeff. I think there was a lot of people that are like, trade Big Jeff. We can get a lot for him. And he was clear in that Big Jeff is a pillar of this team going forward. So, I think what's going to be the most important thing, I think, a lot of people have said this, is as far as who they're going to hire as this next coach, right? Because really Cam, this is his rookie season, but next year will feel like another rookie season. If you're bringing a whole new coaching staff, potentially a whole new system, new terminology. Cam's going to have to learn it all over again, which is similar to feeling like a rookie again. So who can develop Cam the best? Who can create a culture in the locker room of what they want? And so clearly, Mike has gone forward. We've seen 1 draft class. We have a free agent class that he's shown. But as far as the draft class goes, you got Cam obviously with the number 1 pick, but to have 3 of your 4th round picks so far off to a really good start, that would seem like, we can kind of build around these guys, right? It's unfortunate with Femi, obviously more reps that he gets, hopefully the better that he gets, and obviously him being on IR is kind of holding that back. But hopefully you have like a Cedric Gray situation where, Cedric was pretty much out all of last year and he comes out and now you're looking at the 2nd leading tackler in the NFL. Yeah. Which is amazing. And just looks like a leader out there. He knows what he's doing. He tacks the line hard, hits hard, and that's what you're wanting in your linebacker. So, hopefully Femi can come back and within these last 8 games, and get some more reps because that's what he needs. But going forward, obviously they're stacking draft picks because they know they want to draft and build. He made that clear that that's how they want to build this team. So. And not to overspend in free agency. I tell people this, like, people are a free agent for a reason. Yeah, they could be asking for too much money. There could be stuff in the locker room. Are they subtly late to meeting? There could be all these different factors, but they're a free agent for a reason. So it's not one of those things where you just want to go out and spend all this money because you have it. That's not necessarily the smartest thing to do. So they have to be very smart, calculated in free agency. A lot of times you just want to supplement guys, veterans that you can bring in to help those draft picks that you're drafting. So overall, I mean, I thought it was a great presser. And I thought he was clear about what their intentions are. And I'll be really curious to see going forward. You know, I think a lot of people are probably pegging Matt Nagy just with familiarity and, you know, kind of, people have said, oh, you know, Cam Ward to Patrick Mahomes and all that kind of stuff. So could he develop him? I don't know. But, to have, Brinker and Bergonzi and your head coach, those three have to be working in tandem and very, very close relationship. And so obviously, Mike and Chad are going to hire somebody that they're very comfortable with and somebody that they can trust.
Yeah, I mean, does it erase what this season has been in the last 2 to 4 years, whatever frame window you want to assign to where the Titans are now? No, but Tyler on the F&M Bank chat, where you can watch on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, says in the F&M Bank chat, when a team in front office has lost the trust of the fan base at the level this one has, the GM getting out and being transparent is the best way to earn that trust and belief back from the fans. And if there's 100%. Anything the fan base has to hang on to, Brett, it's what you said. If there's anything people are still watching for at this point, it's the rookie class that's driving this offense forward. And it's not just the rookie class, not just the draft picks Bergonzi has made, but the moves that he's made, right? The one thing beyond Jeff, they weren't going to sell Jeff. Nate Washington, by the way, had great logic on that, why you just can't move a piece like that, even in the midst of this situation.
It's a lot. I think people think you can just trade players away, but you need another team, especially if you have a guy, even like Rodgers' case, like a guy that's going to be a free agent, like that's not necessarily easy to do because the Rams are thinking, well, do we really need this player? Do we really want to give up this draft pick for a guy that we might not be able to re-sign? I mean, that's a lot. So it's not that easy. It's not Madden football where you can just trade guys, get rid of guys, fantasy football, add, drop, all that kind of stuff. Like, it takes a lot to figure out who wants a specific player, and you got to make sure that you're getting, reasonable compensation in a pick for this trade. So I think that's why you can't say, well, we should trade these 5 guys. Like, that's tough. That's tough to do.
Yeah. And Nate had a great story on Jarrell Casey, which would have obviously been right in the middle of your Titans career, and how fundamental he was to the Titans, even when things were bad, and how instrumental he was. And even when he wasn't in the prime of his career like Jeff is now, in that 2018-2019 season, how instrumental Jarrell was to getting that Vrabel culture off the ground and getting you guys out of the woods and into a spot where you're a game away from the Super Bowl. And that whole video, by the way, is on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube page if you want to go watch what Nate Washington had to say and subscribe while you're there. But all that to say, the best thing they got in the trade deadline is a potential 4th from Draymond Jones, a Mike Bergonzi signing, right? When you look across the board at the guys that have made some of the most positive impacts, Cody Barton is one of those as well, a Mike Bergonzi signing. So if there's any foundation of trust the Titans have to build on moving forward, it feels like it centers around the Titans GM, who has no responsibility assigned to him for what's happened until he got hired here this past offseason.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think that's huge for him to have this presser. Like, even if I was in that locker room, I would have watched it, just because as a player, obviously you're hearing things in the meetings, all that kind of stuff, but Coach Callahan got fired, and you got, Mike McCoy stepping in. But still, like, you want to know the direction of where this team's going. So for him to have that presser and to really inform people, give us an update, I think it was a really, really good thing for him to do. And I personally think that he's off to a really great start as a GM, and it's somebody that I feel like you could give 3, 4, 5 years to build. And he's obviously come from an organization where they've drafted very well, they've developed really well. They retain their guys really well. And so I think he's learned under that model what to look for in guys, certain culture guys. Obviously, you're not going to hit on everybody. But, I mean, it's I hope it gives people a little bit of hope as far as what the future looks like.
You want to pick some games?
Sure. It's a tough slate.
Tough slate.
A lot of games that, I think people were like, we're expanding the playoff. I don't know. Might take less out of the regular season. And here we are. 3-4 weeks to go, and there's some pretty big games out there.
It's all about the implication. A lot of implications this weekend. So we'll pick some games, 5 in the college slate, 5 in the NFL slate, with Brett Kern in studio next.
can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today. Swing still looks just okay, though.
All right, let's pick some games. Titans are off this weekend. Vols aren't playing. Vanderbilt is in action. Pretty big one over on West End. Brett Kern is in studio to break it all down. But before we do any of that, let's pause for a traffic report with Robert Walsh.
Yeah, guys, we got some damaged lines out there, or whatever the hell you call the roads and traffic reports. If you were leaving Nashville on your way to Memphis, there is an overturned truck on a bridge, and the guy called in and said it's like 10 miles of standstill traffic. So if you're heading that way, don't.
That's westbound.
Westbound. Hey, But we should have let Brad do this. You already know about all this, the weather stuff.
He's got the weather stuff down.
It's like directional punting, directional driving. It doesn't matter. But if you're headed to Memphis,
never eat shredded wheat.
You can't. Unless you like a high fiber diet, then you might want to. But
north, south, east, west.
Never eat shredded.
Compass.
Yeah, okay, you were trying to see. In North Carolina, we called it never eat soggy waffles.
I've heard that one.
Well, that's not even how it goes. That's north, south, east, west. God, we're so dumb.
That's a traffic report from Robert Walsh.
Yeah, so watch out there.
That's not a joke, though. There, like that, we did the whole bit. There is an overturned vehicle, so if you're heading that way,
that's serious. Yeah,
keep an eye on it.
Just because you don't want to waste your whole day. That's one of my least favorite things in the world. Ain't nothing make me want to drive off the side of the road and just become a wilderness man than being in standstill traffic. Yeah, I'll just forfeit my car here, live in the woods.
We do need to start incorporating a traffic report into the show.
No, we do not. They had me do traffic at this station one time, and I was doing such corny taglines out to pitch to stations. They were like, oh, okay, you don't get to fill in anymore. This is a serious thing. I'm like,
what are you doing?
I was like, for your cover, I don't even remember, man. It was, I didn't want to do it, but it was, they needed, you know, when you're new in radio, you're like trying to help everybody out.
Yeah, you got to wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, you got in here and they were like, hey, the guy who does traffic's out today. Can you do traffic for the next 6 hours? I was like, you do not want me to do that, but I will.
Not just for the zone, like for
the whole cluster.
92Q
anything
and 103.3.
That has traffic reports, I was
That's fantastic. Okay.
Looks like the traffic is building up at Bucksnort for anybody that.
Bucksnort never made it into our Tennessee geography bee with Buck. Damn, that's a missed opportunity.
I mean, we would probably hear more about Bucksnort, but he does not laugh. So generally.
That's true. He's a dark and cloudy, gloomy man.
Cannot believe you're going to leave me here on Monday with just him.
Sorry, buddy.
After a great week together. It's like I've been living with Grandma.
Let's pick some games. Heavy implications this weekend. All right, let's just jump right in with the only top 10 matchup that's happening. Biggest game in Lubbock, Texas since that 2008. Would have been tail end of your college career, right? I don't know if you were watching when Michael Crabtree caught that touchdown pass to beat Texas, and Mike Leach, rest in peace, and the Texas Tech Red Raiders won that game. Biggest game in Lubbock since that game, in my opinion. Number 8, Texas Tech, 10.5-point favorites.
Yeah, 2008, that's when it was cool to wear baggy clothes still. So it's been a while.
Cool. It was cool.
Yeah, Texas Tech has a top 10 defense in the country.
Hosting BYU, I should mention.
Yeah, they are ranked 11th in sacks, and leading the country is edge David Bailey with 11.5 sacks this year. So BYU's got a freshman quarterback, Bear Bachmeier. He's actually having a really good season. I think he ranks first in PFF for freshman quarterbacks, 20 TDs, 1,700 passing yards, 403 on the ground too, which is good. BYU has had to come back. They came back against Arizona, Iowa State, so they're not afraid of kind of being down and grinding out a W.
Played close against ECU too.
Yeah, and crazy is last two seasons, BYU 19-2. So they've, the last 2 years, 11-2 last year, and obviously off to a great start this year. But Texas Tech is 5-0 versus the spread with Morton as their starting quarterback. So I don't know, but 10.5 is a lot. I think BYU covers.
Yeah, it's a big spread, isn't it?
It's a big spread. I know it's at Texas Tech too, but I think BYU has the firepower to, if they can handle, obviously Texas Tech's defense, but I think they can cover.
They've just quietly been taking care of business. Bear Bachmeier has the best name of any quarterback in all of college football. That has to count for something.
No. The Ole Miss quarterback. Come on, dude.
Trinidad Chambliss, yeah. That's tough
the
to read, actually.
best.
You're right about
What
that.
about Julian Sayin?
Yeah.
It's not bad, too. If you're a big Dragon Ball Z fan, it's not bad.
I'm with you. BYU covers. I think Texas Tech wins, and this is just a dogfight of a Big 12 race. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a more evenly balanced. When you talk about parity, Brett, I think to start the season, you looked at 5 or 6 Big 12 team that could feasibly win the conference. Yeah. And there's still, 3? BYU, Texas Tech, Utah, all very much are in that conversation. So I think it's a tight game, and Texas Tech wins, and the quest for multiple bids for the Big 12 stays alive. Bert?
Yep.
I looked at the weather, 73 and sunny. So none of the Mormons are going to get soaked. I think it's a clear game. I think Texas Tech covers, though.
Okay. Speaking of weather, this was not on our list, but very, very quickly, I'm springing this on you. Oregon going to Iowa. Messy game. Messy game.
Yeah.
Cold, rain in Iowa City. Oregon can run the football. They're good in the trenches. It's a Dan Lanning coached team, but they are 6.5-point favorites on the road. What's your gut telling you about number 9 Oregon at number 9 Iowa?
I mean, I think Oregon, gosh, it wouldn't surprise me if Iowa pulls it off, but I think Oregon can do just enough. Yeah. I don't think they would cover. What's the over-under? Do you know?
Oh, it's 42.5.
I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
You're not really throwing the ball very effectively in 40, whatever it is, in rain. Yeah. That is,
it's going to be gross, man. It's the worst kind of weather.
That brings me back to when we played the Giants. It was Saquon's rookie year up there. And it was like 38, and it rained the whole game. We lost all our kicking balls through the first quarter because they got drenched, and it was just, it was miserable.
Awful. Okay. I just wanted to get your feel on that game because that could be a sneaky game when it comes to
Does that count on
CFP
picks?
implications. No, it doesn't count. Okay. Doesn't count.
All right.
This does. Georgia, 9.5-point favorites at Mississippi State. They have come so close, Brett, to knocking off one of these teams, Tennessee, Texas. They get another crack at it with Georgia, the battle of the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean, can Blake Shapen kind of take advantage of a slightly inconsistent Georgia secondary? That's kind of what it's been all year. And Chancey Bowens, running back for Georgia, he's seen increased volume over the last 4 games, and State has honestly struggled to stop the run. Over their last 3 games, they've given up an average of 172 on the ground, State has. So, but State snapped their 16-game SEC losing streak, obviously win against Arkansas. So will that be something, gives them a little confidence? I don't know. It might not. But it was a 10-point game last year that Georgia won, I think 41-31. And Georgia's just been playing games close this year. So 9.5, could I see Georgia covering, winning by 10 like last year, something like that? But I think State covers. I think Georgia wins by a touchdown.
Bert?
I love a good road dog, but I think I'm going to have to go with the away dogs here. I think Georgia gets it done.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think State covers. Georgia's been in too many funky, weird, competitive
Florida
games.
Game last week.
Yeah. I think State wins one of – I feel like they win one of this game or Ole Miss. I feel like they've got one in them. But
you think they pull it out in the Egg Bowl potentially?
If there's going to be weirdness, I think it comes in the Egg Bowl and not in this game. Texas A&M, undefeated. An opportunity to do something that's really hard to do right now, and that's run the table, especially in the SEC, but they got to take care of business at a 2-loss Missouri team starting a true freshman, Matt Zollers, at quarterback. Had the bye week to get him ready, got thrown in against Vanderbilt, showed some nice things after the Prbula injury. A&M 6.5-point favorites.
Yeah, Zollers, he finished that Vandy game 14-23, 138 and a touchdown, so he did pretty well. Like you said, he got the bye week to kind of prep, really get a week and a half of prep in for him. But, Marcel Reed, he's coming off, a nice game against LSU. He had 108 on the ground rushing, ran for 2 touchdowns, threw for 2 touchdowns, and also he's 4th now in the Heisman odds, which is he just kind of keeps slowly climbing up. But this is going to be a battle in the trenches. Missouri's ranked 13th against the run, and A&M has given up the least amount of tackles for loss on offense with only 21 this year. So battle in the trenches. We've been talking about Ahmad Hardy all year. Is this the game? He's sitting at 937 on the ground. There's only 3 guys ahead of him in NCAA football right now. So is this the game? He's able to crack 1,000 on the season, but A&M's got a darn good solid run defense. So 6.5 freshman quarterback. I think A&M sees the light at the end of the tunnel of what they got left to accomplish. Getting to an SEC championship. So I like A&M to cover.
Bert?
Yeah, I just want to echo all of Brett's sentiments there. He took all of the stats that I had pre-prepared.
You had all the exact same notes.
Yeah, I sometimes funnel my notes to him, so I have no problem with him. He gets to go first. That's how it is. But I will like to tail his picks.
That's why I brought you pumpkin bread.
Thank you. It's delicious, by the way.
Well, what a stat pull from you there, though. The least given up tackles for a loss is an incredible stat.
That's good stuff.
I'll ride with Brett on that one.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Freshman quarterback against that defense,
tough.
Even
really
at home.
Tough.
Yeah, that's a hard situation. LSU at Bama, 9.5-point favorites. Rare moment where I'll give mine first. I think Bama just dusts LSU in this game, Brett. I think LSU might be lifeless the rest of the way. I could be so wrong. What do you think?
That's the next game. No, I mean, Bama controls his own destiny here. Obviously, they got LSU. They finished with Oklahoma, Eastern Illinois, and Auburn. 84 in a row at home for Bama versus unranked teams. Longest streak in the last 30 years. We're talking about Marcel Reed, 4th in the Heisman. Ty Simpson, he's 3rd in the Heisman race. And he's the 3rd SEC quarterback since 2000 to have 20 or more TD passes with just 1 pick or less through 8 games, which is insane.
Surgical.
it's 25 years worth of football, and just one of 3 guys. And so his last interception came against Florida State. So 9.5. I think if this was 13.5, I'd still take Bama. So obviously, I got Bama to cover.
Bert?
Yeah, I hate you going in front of me because you just take all of my great points.
You can go next. That's fine.
No. I like the
first.
layout here, but I'm actually gonna buck the trend here, for lack of a better term. I think that LSU does get the interim coach bump, and I like them to cover.
Okay. Brett Kern in studio with us, picking some games on 104.5 The Zone, and we were talking about it earlier. It feels like every week there's a reset of biggest game in modern Vanderbilt football history, right? And to me, that's the case for every game moving forward, Brett, because every game moving forward is a playoff game for Vanderbilt in 100%. Regards to qualifying for that 12-team field. Vandy 6.5-point favorites at home against Auburn, who also has just fired their head coach.
Yeah, it's the DJ Durkin era.
Yep.
It has begun, well, at least for Vandy, Mercer, and Bama. But still, DJ Durkin taking over. But, it's a tale of kind of two opposites here. Vandy has the 13th ranked offense in the country, while Auburn has been consistent all year, keeping them in games, as their defense is 18th in the country. Auburn, their run defense has been solid. They've been able to keep everybody under 100 yards, except A&M, who rushed for 207, and South Alabama rushed for 140 on them. So, but Vandy is 0-2 when it fails to rush for 135 yards or more. The over-under is 45.5. I think that might be a safer bet. Obviously, I think I would take the under, but like you said, Vandy's backs, they're against the wall. Like, they have to win, to keep their playoff hopes alive, and finishing with Auburn, and then obviously UK and UT, what's left on the schedule. But I think Vandy covers. I think they win by a touchdown, and kind of one of those like 17-10, kind of like similar to the Missouri game. But I actually do think Vandy wins by a touchdown to cover.
If Diego is who he says he is, despite all of the other factors on defense, he should come out and have a Diego game. I think Vanderbilt covers handsomely. I feel very confident in taking Vanderbilt.
I feel like this is a scratch and claw kind of game. Auburn, it is hard to ride with an Auburn team that scored 3 points last week. What a dreadful game that was against Kentucky. I'm going to go with you guys. I think Vandy wins by a touchdown, barely covers.
Maybe they don't play the Hillsong worship music for hype, and maybe it's like Lecrae or something like maybe it's like Christian rap.
Lecrae, yeah,
or Frank, or somebody to
Yeah, baby steps. Like, phase out of the worship. Don't go straight from Hillsong to, like, I don't know, Kodak Black. But like Lecrae, that's another step forward.
There we go.
All right, to the NFL. We're not picking this game, but we didn't get to this news real quick. DeForest Buckner placed on IR with a neck injury. Big for the Colts, who are in Berlin, Germany, to play the Falcons on Sunday morning. So there is that.
They got sauce now. It's fine.
They do. They have sauce now. The Ravens are 4.5-point favorites. They have Draymond Jones now, and he's going to try and sack J.J. McCarthy. Hopefully he can do it twice. Go ahead and check off that box. Yep. And we're halfway there to the the 5th-round pick becoming a 4th for the Titans. Ravens minus 4.5 in Minnesota.
Robert, I'll let you go first. I really don't want to steal your thunder. I have some good info on your Ravens, but I will let you go first because this is your squad.
I appreciate that. I will go with the Ravens to win, but I will take a heart hedge for the Vikings to cover, and I'll tell you why. So this is the Lamar Jackson, Brian Flores revenge game. If you guys will remember, Brian Flores was the head coach in Miami. Lamar dusted Miami, the game they had the year prior to facing Brian Flores. Flores says, we are not letting that happen again. And it was the cover 0 game in which they blitzed Lamar 30-plus times. He could not connect downfield. He didn't have time to scramble. That has been a huge topic of conversation in Baltimore this week. Lamar was asked about it. He wants to get his face back. He wants to get his milk back. I think Lamar does it. But that Minnesota atmosphere is nuts. If the Ravens are going to win, J.J. McCarthy is going to have to return to his regular season form at the beginning of this season because he looked incredible last week against the Lions. If the Ravens lose this game, there is a 43% chance they go to the playoffs. If they win it, they have a 63% chance. A 20% chance swing whether they win or lose this game. This is the only must-win game on their schedule for the next couple weeks. The Ravens get it done, but I got the Vikings to cover.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I still have some more information. They also held the Ravens to 10 points in that game when they blitzed Lamar like crazy. But the last 2 games, the Vikings have struggled to cover the tight ends. Gadsden for L.A. has 77 yards and a touchdown. Laporta last week had 97 and a touchdown. And Mark Andrews is coming off a 2-touchdown performance, and he only needs 18 18 more yards to pass who, Robert, as the all-time franchise leader in reception yards?
Derek Mason.
There you go.
If he gets
Titans
18
legend.
yards, Derek Mason is no longer the leading receiver for 2 franchises in the NFL.
Oh, wow.
And, Robert, do you know Lamar Jackson's record versus the NFC in his career?
Oh, he has 2 losses. One of them against the Giants and one of the 3 losses. He
Yes.
lost to the Lions this year. So Lions, Eagles, Giants.
He's 24-3 versus the NFC in his career. So
That's
we
crazy
talk about
recall by
Flores
Robert.
and that's actually unbelievable. But it's crazy, blitzing and what Flores was doing. But thankfully for Lamar's case, Vikings, they are second in the league at 39% blitz rate, but some of their worst defensive games have come when they've gone higher than that blitz rate that they've been averaging. So I'd love to see how this game plays out, but I think the Ravens cover.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ravens are about to go on a run. All right, we got to move quickly through these. Patriots at Bucks. Drake May's toughest test so far this year. Bucks 2.5-point home favorites.
Yeah, 10th game in a row for the Pats. Bucks are coming off a bye week. Pats could be without Booty, who leads the team with 5 touchdowns. Crazy stat is that the Pats have not allowed an opposing running back to rush for more than 50 yards in a game this year. The last team to do that through 9 games was in the year 1950.
Whoa!
So it's been a long time. But the Bucks, they blitz at a high rate too. They're at 31.9%, and Drake May has been sacked 34 times, which is second in the league to. Unfortunately, Cam, who has 38. But this is a really hard game for me to pick, and I have not written it down. I have every other game written down, and I'm just going to wing it, and I say the Bucks cover.
Yeah.
I agree. At home, Drake May, probably one of the bigger tests of this year for him. But the Buccaneers still the walking wounded. A lot of guys trying to get back. Bucky Irvin, Chris Godwin, Hassan Reddick on defense. The injury report does not look favorably upon them. So tough spot, but I agree. I think the Buccaneers are able to pull it out.
In the AFC South, the Jags are 1.5-point favorites in Houston, who is without C.J. Stroud. Davis Mills gets the start.
Big pillow fight here. Second meeting between these two teams. Jags won week 3, 17-10. Obviously, you said Stroud's out, Davis Mills in. Jags are 31st in the league, allowing 78 yards per game to tight ends. So I think look for Davis Mills to look for Schultz, and that might be a connection to watch. This is not a great stat for the Jags, but they're one of 4 teams in the NFL with a negative point differential, but still have a winning record. Panthers, Bears, and Steelers are the other 3. Over/under, that thing's set at 37.5, so it is going to be a low-scoring game. But I think the Texans cover, and I could see a Kaimi Fairbairn. Unlike last week, losing on a field goal, I could see Kaimi Fairbairn hitting a 50-plus yarder to win it.
Are all of those teams that are at negative point differentials have positive records?
Yeah, Panthers, Bears, and Steelers.
That's insane.
Crazy.
That is insane. We talked about this game earlier. I would be willing to take the Jags up to 3.5, so I'll take the Jags to cover.
Okay. Rams -4.5 in San Francisco.
Yeah, another second meeting between these two teams with the 49ers winning in overtime on a field goal in week 5. And that was the 8th time between McVay and Shanahan that a game between them has been decided by 3 points or less. So obviously they're in a lot of close battles in that division. 49ers are 3-0 in that division. So this is a huge game for both as far as vying for being a division leader. McCaffrey, he's had 100 yards of scrimmage in 8 of 9 games this year. And Mac Jones, he's statistically been one of the best this year passing down the middle, while LA is actually one of the best at defending passes down the middle if you're looking at the DYAR and DVOA. So I think the 49ers at home can cover this 4.5.
That's scary to me. It's really scary. Matthew Stafford it's tough to say this because the dude's been playing since Nam, but one of the best statistical years of his career right now, 2,100 yards, 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I'll bet on Stafford until they prove me wrong. I think the Rams get it done on the road.
Monday Night Football. 6-2 Eagles at the 5-2-1 Packers. Eagles had their little slump. They've come out of that by now. Packers are just confusing, Brett.
I don't know. Eagles are coming off a bye week, and they added new edge rusher from Miami, Jalen Phillips, which I'm sure they'd love to have on that squad. And so the Packers are coming off that home loss to Carolina. Just a confusing loss. We talked about that Monday, just kind of how that happened. But I think more importantly, the loss of Tucker Kraft
for the season,
might hurt him even more. But on the flip side, Tight end for the Eagles, Dallas Goddard, whatever you want to pronounce his last name. He leads all tight ends in the NFL with 7 of them. So he's kind of been a hot target for Jalen. And Eagles lead the league in fewest turnovers with 3. They only have 3 turnovers on offense. Packers are 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games. So, I like the Eagles to cover, and I think they're going to win this game.
Dallas Goddard, that will inevitably be his name when the NFL plays games in Paris at PSG Stadium.
Yeah.
Bert?
That's got to be coming.
Yeah, you know it is.
I want to pick the Packers because they are the wishy-washy team, and in betting, you have to pick against yourself, at least for me, because most of my picks are terrible. But 1.5 is such a gimme. Might as well be a pick-em game. I think the Eagles get it done. You noted them trading for Jalen Phillips from Miami. They also added Michael Carter from the Jets, added Jair Alexander, who's only been active for 2 games for the Baltimore Ravens, but still solid depth that they can add in their secondary. I think the Eagles come out of the bye for blood, and they get it done.
There you go. FRA at home tonight in the playoffs against, remind me,
Lakeway Christian.
Lakeway Christian.
Quite the drive for them.
Good luck to you guys tonight, no doubt.
Where are you at tonight?
I'm at Lebanon. Friday Night Rivals. We got Lebanon hosting Riverdale, 6A playoffs. Let's hope the weather cooperates.
Yeah, you'll be in the booth. You'll be fine.
I'll be covered up.
You'll be covered up.
For sure. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, enjoy this pumpkin bread. It's my gift to you.
Much.
Robert, thanks for giving me all these notes so I can just copy and paste them. But yeah, enjoy it.
Hey, you're the man. Appreciate the bread, dog.
Appreciate it, man. We will see you. I won't see you Monday, but Buck will. He'll be back, unfortunately. And we'll catch up next week. Appreciate it.
Do you think it'll be tan or burnt?
Oh. No pale. He'll probably just be inside all week. Probably hasn't even been on the beach. Brett Kern in studio with us. Enjoy the games this weekend, man.
Yeah, we'll see you Monday.
We'll wrap up the show with some polls next.
Hey dads, want an epic night with your kids? Head to Nissan Stadium for the Nashville All-Pro Dad Experience. On November 7th from 6 to 8:30 p.m., you'll make memories with your family as you run on the field and enjoy bonding activities. Expect fun, laughs, and fatherhood tips from Tennessee Titans long snapper Morgan Cox to help you be a better dad. All for less than a trip through the drive-thru. Just $35 gets you an unforgettable time with your kids. Register today at allprodad.com/events. The Nashville All-Pro Dad Experience is brought to you by Amazon, Arby's Foundation, Coca-Cola Consolidated, Colgate Bright Smiles Bright Futures, and Pinnacle Financial Partners.
I love living in Middle Tennessee. We've got great restaurants, entertainment, sports, and one of the nation's top Ford dealers right here in our backyard. Two Rivers Ford. Remember that name. Two Rivers has been a staple in our community since 1983. They're locally owned. They have a non-commissioned sales team, and they sell below MSRP. They've been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Wrapping up the show, 615-737-1045, fueled as we always are by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Appreciate you guys hanging out all week. A nice little escape. Just the air, a little lighter, the sun shining a little brighter. Robert dimmed the lights for this last segment, so I feel like I'm speaking to nothing but a shining ring light. That's all I can see right now.
You can't
My
even
eyes
see
are
me.
just flooded.
Yeah.
I can barely see you.
You look great.
Thank you.
With the purple behind you, the accent lights, man. I will say, the only thing that looks better than you do right now,
that pumpkin bread.
Dude.
Yeah.
I listen, not to disparage anybody's good name or good baking name, but like I hear pumpkin bread and I'm like, okay, pumpkin bread, had bread before. I'm sure it's good.
Sure, had pumpkins.
My expectations were eviscerated.
100%.
It was so stinky. I feel honored that we even got, if he would have brought in a crumb of that, an ant-sized feast, I would have been ecstatic. That was incredible. Thank you to Brett Kern for sharing some of that with us.
Yes. The entire Kern family.
The entire Kern family.
Being willing to part ways with some of this pumpkin bread.
Because what he gave us was probably enough to last them a day.
Yes.
I am honored.
Fantastic.
Probably the best thing I've put in my mouth all day.
I am at Lebanon High School today. Friday Night Rivals. Playoff time.
Where are you signing your autographs at? If fans would like to see you.
First round of the 6A playoffs. Lebanon hosting Riverdale. That matchup has happened 3 times now. This will be the third in the last 5 years. Riverdale has lost both. So they're looking for revenge. Both teams looking to move on and likely be rewarded with having to go to Maryville in the second round. But win or go home, all you can control is what's in front of you, and those teams will do that tonight. Looking forward to it. We'll be on the air at 7 p.m. Myself and Bruno Reagan on the call with Sammy Kincaid down on the sideline. Do you have any predictions? Lebanon hosting Riverdale.
It's going to rain.
Yeah, I am hoping that blows through before the 7 p.m. kickoff.
I understand people, I love weather games. Snow, rain. Those are about the only weathers you're allowed to play in. But either one of them games, I love messy, ugly games. And high school games exude that energy. Like it's like the Remember the Titans, or any of those big movies you remember where it's like pouring
it's great.
Torrential downpour.
It's great. Until you got to set up a camera on the roof of a press box.
Yeah, I'm thinking about everybody else, not you guys. But you can get your umbrella.
Sure.
They ain't got no umbrellas.
They do. Our crew works very hard. They're very prepared. One thing Lebanon does on home playoff games, they checkerboard their end zones blue and white, which is really cool.
Are you going to bore everyone else with the history of checkerboard like you did when we went to Neyland? I think the other day, I don't remember what you were poo-pooing, but you were like, I hate when people just take their college traditions too serious. I'm like, Lucas, we were drunk as hell in downtown Knoxville, and you had to point out the checkerboard on the clock tower.
On Ayers Hall, the clock tower on Ayers Hall. There's the checkerboard. As Robert Neyland said, run to the checkerboard.
You told me. I thought it was much more impressive that Kevin Nash was on the water tower than the checkerboard on the watchtower.
Kevin Nash,
but that's just
BFL.
me. That's just me.
Fair. Very fair.
Big Sexy belongs up there.
Hope y'all join us tonight on My TV 30. We're getting near the end of high school football season. Let's do some polls.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to do that because Buck always does it. That is the best work of one Rhett Bryan. Appreciate him doing that. I get joy out of that every single time I hear it. The polls brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the most trusted Ford dealer in the entire South, this side of the Mississippi, maybe on the other side. I don't know where the hell they got locations at. But what's the most positive story you've heard in sports this week? Mike Titan probably sets it right for all of us. The way tragedy has brought the internet together and different fan bases together after the passing of Marshawn Kneeland in Dallas.
Yes, that has been cool to see everybody coming together and put out those helplines for mental illness. That was a tragic story this week.
And if you're dealing with something, reach out to somebody. Give me a call. I mean, it don't matter to me. Give us a call, 615-737-1045. I'll talk to you any day of the week. If I'm here, I'll talk to you. It doesn't matter to me. If you're dealing with something, talk to somebody. Somebody's here for you. How seriously are you taking the Broncos as Super Bowl contenders? Very seriously? I could see it, or not seriously. Very seriously, got 0% of the votes. No one is very serious about the Broncos as a Super Bowl contender. 32% said, I could see it, and 63% said, not serious at all. Do you watch that game last night, Lucas?
Elite defense, inconsistent at best offense. I'm still considering them a Super Bowl contender if they catch fire in certain moments offensively, like they have in different weeks this season. But yeah, it's a bit of an existential crisis, I think, for Broncos fans sitting there at 8-2, but with all those questions about the offense.
The biggest game locally in the SEC this weekend. Who you got? Vandy or Auburn? No one should be shocked by the results due to our location. Vanderbilt with 91% of the audience score, and I don't disagree with them. Despite being here and despite most people probably voting for Vandy on this poll, I think they're right.
See if they can get it done. Are those the polls?
Those are the polls.
That's the show. It's been fun, guys. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Buck will be back, much to everyone's dismay, on Monday. I'll be out Monday, so I'll be back at it Tuesday, and we'll just continue to keep plugging here in 2025. Cover 2 is next. See y'all.
Love you.